Norwood versus Central District in round 20 action of the SANFL this afternoon. Beautiful day, beautiful conditions at the Adelaide Oval. Tim Ginniver joining me in commentary, and Tim, pretty much the last roll of the dice for Norwood.
It is, isn't it? And the Eagles can shut the door on both Norwood and Port today if they win, but really they've got to keep their hopes alive by beating Central's here.
Yes, it's a neutral ground this afternoon, but earlier in the season, strangely enough, Norwood flogged, or rather at least beat easily, shall we say, 16 points. They beat Central's out at Elizabeth, and then had the favour returned in kind and then some on their home ground. Yeah, well, they've won 2 of their last 3 encounters, Norwood, and that's a fairly good effort, but certainly got a hiding in their last clash at the Norwood Oval, and want to try and improve on that performance, that's for sure. This stage of the season, this was a round 2 clash out at Elizabeth, and Norwood looked very promising. Robbie Armatt kicking a goal there, and they looked like they had the same form that they took into last season when they started out of the blocks so quickly, but it's faded away. Yeah, real good system and plenty of run out of the midfield, and they seem to have lacked that consistency throughout the year. And this is the other game that you were speaking about, Neil, where Central's got up by 90 points in pretty greasy conditions, and they just used the football so much better that night. Yes, it was a real treat to watch for those who braved the conditions that night. They weren't that great, but obviously Central's thought they were pretty good. Outstanding performance, and they've been very consistent again. I mean, they just year in, year out, they just keep bobbing up and doing the right things. And the Redlegs, where do they go? Yeah, well, where did they go wrong, perhaps? Where did they go wrong? Because really, you know, you look at their side on paper, it still looks like a good outfit, and there's a bit of frustration, I think, down at the parade for all involved. Yes, there certainly is. There certainly was on that particular occasion at the parade, with Central's romping away. We'll look at these last 2 meetings. Norwood getting home by 16 points at Elizabeth, as we said, and then in round 11, 90 points the margin in favour of Central District. Overall, head-to-head, Norwood with 58 wins to 43, but you would think Central's pulled that back more recently. Yeah, I'd have to look at that, but I reckon they've caught up a fair bit in the last 10 years. Just a quick look at the other matches. Eagles versus Glenelg, a chance, if Glenelg can beat the Eagles, the door opens slightly for Norwood and Port. That's great. It's round 20 and it's all still alive, and the Final Four isn't being decided, so it is good. We look at that Final Four, as we see Norwood has that game in hand, and then Port Adelaide is around about the mark as well, chasing that 4th spot in the finals. Yeah, well, it's up to the Eagles. If they wish to be in the top 4, they need to win, and as far as Port and Norwood go, keep your hopes alive by winning. Leading goal kickers just quickly, Darren Bradshaw. Look at that, 71 is perhaps a chance of kicking the ton in the season, especially with finals ahead. Paul Evans and Justin Platt, 2 good players for Port Adelaide this season. Outstanding, and you notice Central's there, not a lot in the top 10, and they just use the football so unselfishly around goal. Time to join Sodas on the boundary.
Well, thanks, Neil. Hello, everyone. Norwood today playing for their final survival. Joining me is their coach, Gary McIntosh. Macca, early in the year, you defeated both Central and Sturt by playing a one-on-one accountable football, shutting down their midfield. Can we expect the same approach today?
Oh, look, I think, we've used various sorts of setups that we want to try through the midfield, and, it's one of them. So, I can't let you know what we expect to see yet.
So a bit of wait and see. Now, Scotty Doreen hinted this could be his final season, but with his shoulder injury, it has ended early. Is he a chance to go on next year?
Oh, look, I think he'll weigh it up as the year ends, and then probably see all the rehabilitation it takes and how it pulls up. So, it's probably the same with Anthony Harvey as well. He's doing all the rehab, and if all things go well, they may play on.
Well, they may have overcome Central's and Norwood, rather Sturt earlier in the season, but just in round 19, Sturt absolutely flogged Norwood, and Norwood looked pretty ordinary. Yeah, it's true. The midfield was the dangerous thing too, that where Sturt dominated, and that's normally one of Norwood's strengths, but Sturt really were good in close, and as you can see there, resulted in goals. Yes, plenty of them, and it was a 51-point victory in the end, and that man in Brant Chambers kicked 6 goals straight in that 51-point victory for Sturt. Sodas is now talking to the Central's coach, Roy Laird.
Well, thanks, Neil. Central District's no doubt very keen to secure the minor premiership today. Roy, you're coming off the bye. Did you use it as a chance to freshen up the players or work them really hard?
No, we did some solid work for the last 2 weeks, and we'll probably continue that for another week or so, just leading into the finals.
Luke Cow and Paul School have been terrific this year. With Damien Arnold back, is that the final piece of the jigsaw in your finals lead-up?
Not necessarily. We have got some good players, both in the twos today and playing league, of course, at the moment, who give us good depth this year, so we'll still be flexible yet.
Yes, they have got quite a line-up, haven't they? Simon Arnott going to fit nicely back into that side. He's last year's best and fairest for them. Pretty hard to fit any more talent in there. I mean, it's just overflowing at the moment, and
just so many good players everywhere, and Cowan's been a real find this year. I know he's worked hard in the twos for the last couple of seasons, and now he's got his opportunity. He's made the most of it.
And as we look at the toss of the coin, it'll be interesting. Norwood will obviously need to start well for confidence more.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, but they've got to have pressure on all day long and make sure that they're right around the mark. Looks like the coin must have landed. Yeah,
there's 2 out
landed
of 3.
sideways, did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as we see,
Got stuck in the cracks.
yes, there's still some out there on that wonderful cricket surface that's been prepared here at the Adelaide Oval. We look at the Norwood lineup, and on paper again, they look pretty solid, don't they?
Well, it's good enough to make an impact, you know. When you look at Yerbury getting his hand to the football is important. The ball ace, Gallagher, James running through there. They've got a reasonable side, and you know, good forward targets now too. Patfull, Robrinall can take marks, are bound, so there's plenty to aim at. McEntie's had some good form in recent weeks, so good on him.
Well, we mentioned beautiful day this afternoon. Soda's going to give us a weather report. He's also going to give us the update on a nose job he had during the week.
Well, thanks, Neil. After 10 years of being belted by mindless forwards, I thought it was time to have the nose straightened. Did have that done early in the week, so hopefully it does look a little bit better. Back to today's game. Well, it's always a pleasure to be at Adelaide Oval with its immaculate playing surface. Today we can expect a fine and mild day with a top of 16 degrees. There is a stiff breeze favouring the right of screen, Neil.
So the Redlegs will have an opportunity to use that breeze first up, and gee, what could be better? They'd want 2 or 3 on the board straight away, wouldn't they?
Yeah, any sort of scoreboard pressure is going to make it a better day for them against Centrals, who will just keep persisting. And I've seen Central sometimes not struggle, but canter along up to half-time and then really break free in a third term. And that's where Norwood are just going to have to continually be in front on the scoreboard to keep the pressure on, because Centrals can motor away at any time. They're a very good side.
Yes, and that says it all, doesn't it? They're a very good side. Robbie Neal, he's been important for them since he's come to the club from his AFL career, and they've got a lot of experience in that lineup, considering that they have been hard hit by injuries this season.
Yeah, they have, and you know, Robbie sort of had a knee reconstruction, I think, late last year, and he's come up okay and had a reasonable year. But they've had so many players that have had injuries and haven't got their best side on the park for any sort of consistency, and I think that's why it's been a bit frustrating down at the parade.
We see some of those construction vehicles in the background there, and the new stand being constructed on the far side of the ground. You won't see too many spectators over there, but what you will see is a great game of footy. Here's Michael Maney for the first bounce.
Good crowd in, Neil, for what should be an entertaining afternoon's football. They're your umpires, Ryan Day and Mead. Job ahead of them this afternoon. Good surface here. Let's hope they bounce the ball on plenty of occasions. No excuses today. No excuses for both these sides in this round 20 clash. Umpire Tony Day with the football. There's Paul Schooler, important out of the clearances. He's been wonderful for them this year. Round 20 action, SANFL, ABC television, underway in the first term. Good high bounce by the umpire. Knocked down by Nicholas. Out of there, Neil. That's a high kick. Thumped over the back. Hopwood just got it away. Kicked off the ground by Patfull. Working to the boundary. Hay just about to close him down. Patfull, a handball of sorts. It goes to Bound, just threw it on the boot. Harada, Mr. Reliable, off to Bello. They love to switch play. Off to Hyde from half-back. Clears it, out to the wing. One-on-one battle. Massey there with James Gowans. Bratton kept it in play, hooked it round, camped underneath it. Kick was smothered off the boot, or touched off the boot. And young Haythorpe just took it over the line. Good start to this match. Norwood, the Redlegs, kicking to right of screen. Schooler just got it down. Ball in dispute. Gallagher, they could have needed him last night for the Adelaide Crows. Thumped away by off to Hyde toward the boundary, and it just trickles out.
Yeah, got to take advantage. I think Norwood having Gallagher in the lineup. He's such a good player. Does cover a lot of ground, and always fit and looking alive.
Boundary throw in. Just half forward for the Redlegs, doing the early attacking. No one can clear the footy. Would have been a free kick to Haythorpe, but I thought maybe his own man Bound just went across him, and a ball up.
Yerbury trying to work hard to get in front of these ruck contests in front of Schooler and get his hand to it, which is good, because he's going to have to do that all day.
Good tap by Yerbury. Bound round the corner. Just didn't get foot to ball. Central's so clinical at the back. Here's Healy off the left foot, down the centre wing. And well done. Guerra coming to the front. Every time he's played for Centrals, he's delivered. Sure, this afternoon will be no different. shortest of kicks, perhaps not 15. Doesn't matter. Healy plays on. Goes up long inside half forward. Well roved by Norwood. They'll get an opportunity to break to the far side of the ground. Neil is out there. So is Tyson. Takes the ball. Likes the options through the middle. James Tyson running. Now he runs out of options. He's run them into the wrong space. Goes with the pass to Carslake. We'll probably see a lot of that from Norwood this afternoon, judging by the early stages. Carslake playing on quickly. Then they had that fumble. Wasn't a great kick. Gee, it's scrambly early. Finally, Carslake backs up again around the corner. Astray, remembering Norwood kicking with the aid of a breeze and a minor score to open the scoring for the afternoon.
I think they should be happy, Neil, that they are getting their hands on the footy. And from stoppages, and when the ball came in defence there, it was roved off hands, and they are working particularly hard. I know it's only a couple of minutes into the contest, but it's a good sign.
Hay favours the outer side. 2-on-1 contest. Swatala. Hopwood couldn't take it. Swatala. Just a grubby kick. Massey just overran the footy. In goes Guerra. Free kick off the footy will go to the big man in Nicholas. So Tim Nicholas, who's an emerging player for the legs, dishes off to Clements. In short, the skipper, James. Long kick inside the 50 zone. Patfull's at the back. Just knocked the footy away. Thomas just breaks with some speed. Just kicks forward. Surely a free kick against Coulter. Knights just worked his way into the contest. Knights penetrating left foot to half forward. Loose ball over the back, off to Hyde. Tries to get around. He's locked up by Yerbury. What's your decision, Tim Geneva?
Oh, in the end, it was fair. Yerbury, good tackle. That there's just a tad early. And so the free kick was paid, but yeah, off to Hyde. I think turned around to look for an option, wasn't one there, and then wanted to go to the boundary.
Ran into the brick wall in Yerbury. Boundary throw in. Thomas again, the clearance to Bello. Marco Bello, one of the favourites for the Magarey medal. Long kick down the line, but Nicholas in front of Guerra takes a good mark.
It's got to look a bit more inboard, Norwood. There was a couple of times they could have gone through the corridor, then long. End up kicking the last one, I think, to a 5'8" bloke in Scotty Borlace.
Well, Nicholas looked to the corridor then. The option was covered. So he's gone down the line. In the end, Score coming over the back, knocking it over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in. 4.5 minutes gone. Just the one behind for Norwood so far. So does.
On the bench for Norwood, John O'Robin, Matthew Bartamucci and Ben McEntee.
Jonathan Robin looking like he's having trouble with balance there as he was stretching. Thomas comes out of defence, switches place with Tala in space. He'll have players running for him. One of those is Hopwood. Swatala, though, well held up. Off to Hyde, running for him as well. Off the right foot, looking for Slade. Slade across, gathers the ball well. Umpire said that was fair and legal. Perhaps lucky that ball from the tackle stayed in the vicinity, because it looked like he lost it and was still held on to, Tim.
Yeah, it was a pretty aggressive tackle, and I think didn't give him much chance to get hold of it.
Bello, good tackle from Bello. James Gowans and Nicholas at least has him.
The Central District's Ed Sansbury and David Keller, two youngsters on the bench, sitting alongside dual premiership ruckman Damien Arnold.
All right. Half forward right for Central District, just in front of the construction area of that new stand, and the lone spectator just standing out there. You hear they're working hard in close. Gallagher, just a quick kick forward, found Carslake. He wants to play on. He's played on every time he's got the ball so far. Brett James in short to Borlace. They're better players getting touches of the ball early. Borlace inside 50, long and high. Schooler 2-on-1 off the Hyde is there as well. That was a push. Umpire said it was all fair and legal, and out of bounds. We'll get a throw in the forward pocket for Norwood.
Looking forward to that battle. Joel Patfull, who's a real up-and-coming talent, and off the Hyde, who I rate as a full back. Two real good young talents against one another.
Not clear. Into a pack, though. Goes back. No one can take it. Kicked off the ground by Thomas. Hopwood wants the line and finds it. Swatala can't pull it in.
6.5 minutes in, Michael. I just think that Norwood have now got to get a goal on the board. They've done a lot of the attacking. They've been inside 50 a fair bit. And I think now that they've got to do something about it. I think the stats are 7-1. So got to take advantage of that.
Free kick will go to James Gowans for too high. At half-back, that's right, Tim. They do need to score. As Hopwood wants to switch, got a man running for him in Brooks. Good weighted kick. So Brooks, another young player.
They're the best at that, Michael. Just the switching of play. Centrals all the time look for it, and it's a way to break it open.
Off to Hyde was short, but the kick also pretty short. Mown down, Haythorpe ran back into Brooks, taken by Healy, the skipper. Got it back to off to Hyde. Pulls it back inboard. The mark, clever mark, taken by Clements on the wing, on the member's side. He got in front of him, a brick wall. Decides to kick toward the flank, poor option, not a good kick. Off to Hyde, couldn't take the mark, and Haythorpe runs it to the line. Hopwood takes a dive, and they'll throw it back in.
That's a bit more of the attack you want to see. Was Hopwood then on Haythorpe. I just reckon it's been a little bit lacklustre from Centrals. There's not a lot of intensity around it just yet. I'm sure it'll take a goal to fire them up.
They may get one shortly. Schooler knocked it down. Ball ace, ridden into the ground. Free kick. Always at the foot of the pack, Scott Ball ace. This is where his value is to the legs.
Absolutely. He's got to earn the footy, and he did that on that occasion.
Ball ace just outside. He's attacking 50. Kicks it long, hoping for a mark at the back. Oh, great mark has been taken. That's Stewie Bound. Immediately goes on with play to Gallagher, but the umpire is going to bring it back. And Stewie Bound's going to have to kick this goal very deep in the pocket.
Well, if he gives himself enough room, if he goes back, he might just be able to come in and then give himself just a couple of yards to his right and hook it around in.
Norwood by one behind. Bound's going to run around and screw it. Now, the umpires, what's he done here? It's just been smothered off the boot and out of bounds.
Yeah, it was off the mark, as we said, but you've just got to get that kick in a bit quicker.
Well, they really haven't got reward for their dominance at the moment. Norwood 8 forward, 50 entries to 1. And Central managing to hold their ground. Just have a look at that kick from Bound.
Slade smother. Good work and good setup too. I mean, Centrals did well then because you can easily fall asleep and try and pick men up, and that he was always going to have a shot. And they set up two alongside him, expecting that was going to happen. Well done.
Robbie Neal roving the pack. Quick snap. A stray weight on the umpire. Minor score. So Norwood reading like a soccer score now. 2-0.
I think they'd hope it was soccer, Neil. With that sort of scoreline, they really need to get some goals on the board. I mean, inside 50 now, 8 times to 1. And pretty deep inside 52. It's not just on the edge of the line.
Kicking with a bit of a breeze too. Hay from half-back for the Dogs. Kicks down the line. Nicholas has taken a couple of marks on this side of the ground. Poor kick by Centrals. Short kick to Ball Ace. They're going via the Cape, Norwood. Need to probably try and drag it back into the corridor. But nothing happening there. And he wants to go short again, Carslake. So long way around for a shortcut at the moment for the legs. Not too much on offer as Yerbury gets down there. Decides to go short to Bound. Now Bound will load it up. This time he gets his kick away. It's a high kick to the point of the square. Patfull flies off the hands, one behind.
Pretty crowded then. As Bound was coming in with a football, it was pretty crowded within that keyway for Norwood. Good vision there. Cleared the whole pack. I don't know anybody got a finger to that. Might have gone through for a goal had it not hit the post.
Off to Hyde, down the line, down the wing, looking for Chris Gowans. And Gowans striding forward, taking the mark. He looks down the line to his brother. He's covered. Eventually, though, he goes that way. Massey will come from behind, just punch it away over the boundary line. Oh, and as is their way, the Gowans boys getting involved. They can't help themselves, can they? Chris Massey sort of shrugged that off.
Thrive on it.
Oh, I love it.
Ball back into play now. And we'll get another bounce down.
It's just classic, isn't it? It's like in the schoolyard, you know, somebody pushes you, touches you, that's it, I'm into it.
Yeah. It was always going to happen.
It's good stuff.
Just looking to stir up some emotion at the moment, I think. As you said, Centrals haven't started with much passion. Here's James Gowans. The hand pass wasn't great. Ball ace. Thump. Took the pressure, though, and hand passed off. Dawes couldn't handle it. Finally returns the favour to Ball ace. Gives it now down to half forward and very high. Robin will fly from behind. Or Yerbury, in fact. So Yerbury with the mark. Ball ace has gone to his right. Across in front of the corridor is the place to go. And almost a mark to Gallagher. Couldn't handle it. Now he gets it off the ground from the head pass. The kick forward, it luckily falls in the hands of Stewie Bound, and surely from this distance he can kick a goal.
That was good work in the end, because that was a pretty hard contest down here at the wing, and Scotty Borlase rode the bump of Slade, got to his feet quickly and gave off.
And Bound Gilly converts, first goal of the afternoon. It's taken more than 12 minutes, and Norwood has the only scores of the afternoon. 1 goal, 3.
Well, they worked particularly hard for that, didn't they? I mean, a long time coming, but eventually got the goal. Good effort by Gallagher there. 2 and 3 attempts to get the mark. Patfull's quick hands back to Gallagher, front and centre. He could get the kick on the boot and find Bound, but they did work particularly hard. It started on the wing here, and, you know, I think that'll probably sting Central's into gear now, because they know that they've got a goal on the ball and they've got to catch up. You'd think so. Matty Dorr is pretty good there too. Very much in close. Nicholas tries to get it down. Guerra is tracked by Carslake. Got a handball out. Gallagher involved again. Looking for Patfull. Patfull on off to Hyde. Off to Hyde. Oh, he just slipped him. He'll line up for goal. Long kick by Patfull. I think he's popped it through. The young man just spun his opponent around. He's got some terrific goal sense, this young man. Gets his first in the legs. Get to it within a minute. Well, he's already fairly well developed for such a young man. Just span him around as he took the football. I think off the Hyde was trying to get his hand around and get hold of the ball, but in the end, knows he's a right footer, probably could have trapped him on the other side of his body and blocked that off, but not enough pressure in the end, and Patfull did it too easily.
1 goal this afternoon, 18 for the season. He's playing at least his 11th game this afternoon, Joel Patfull. Central's had the better of that ruck contest, but then James out of the middle, quickly down towards Yearbury. Parada cleans it up. Quickly break to the far side, looking for Hopwood. The dual-bested Ferris takes the mark. Swatala's short, but he won't go for that option. Instead, goes back into the centre corridor. They do this so well. Herrera with the long hand pass to Guerra. Knew he had Schooler with him. Schooler then quickly with the right boot down towards half forward. Not the greatest of kicks. Clements from behind knocked the ball away. Dawes, presence of mind. Knew Gallagher was somewhere whereabouts. Gallagher off the left foot was neat. And they've got it down to half forward again, Norwood. They're working it well. Bound takes his time inside half forward. And Patfull on the chest.
Great kick.
His man.
Great kick in the end. Really good effort to deliver that ball. Patfull just waited at the back. There was another man in front there. He just ignored that and then went.
So Patfull wide out on that far side of the ground. We'll have a pretty good look though at the goal from here. And comes in confidently, and we'll wait on the umpire, but I think it's a minor score. Yeah, just a bit narrow on that shot.
It was a pretty reasonable effort, but they do need to make the most of their chances, because I got a nasty feeling that Centrals will use this breeze a little bit better than what Norwood have at the moment.
Kicks Norwood 33, Central's 19. Inside 50 is now 13-1.
It's been all the legs. Long kick out of full-back. Over the back, Patfull involved again. Hopwood tries to wrap him up. All work toward the boundary, off to Hyde there, and takes it over. There's Jonathan Robran. Itching to get out, been out for 3 or 4 weeks, Jono Robran, so he'll be pretty keen to get out on the park. Important player for the Redlegs. All knocked down, Gallagher. In goes James Gowans, slung in the tackle. Good enough to get it to Brooks. Bello had a man over the top in Swatala. Just about got locked up. James hooks it in one hand, can't keep it in. And a boundary throw in. Norwood have played pretty well on the back there, having young Nicholas taking some marks, and Brett James always plays a kick behind play, does it well. So their setup at the moment's been pretty good. Another couple of quick goals just to ram home the advantage. Bodies committed there. The Gowans boys share it to Guerra. First opportunity, real opportunity for Centrals. Well thumped away by Daniels from Shell. Good work by Thomas. Jammed it on the boot. Out to the boundary. So the first time Centrals go forward, the Norwood defence stands up. Yeah, it was good work, wasn't it? Just punched away here, got hold of the ball, kicked it towards the boundary line, which all he could do, but Slade's front centre work was great. Unfortunately, he hit it that hard, it bounced straight off him.
The ball in. It was outside 50 and thrown inside 50. I wonder if that counts. So here's Guerra. This will. Bello. His kick was perfect. Chris Gowans with the mark. And looks to centre it up immediately. Wait on the umpire, he'll pull him around. Mongie, how many stats for Chris Gowans so far?
Yes, Neil, this is his third possession, one of each.
So coming up for his 348th possession of the season. Averaging 21 per game, Chris Gowans.
3 of each. What was it? 3, 1 of each. That's almost like me. I've got 3 kids, 1 of each.
You can explain that later for us.
Gowans from the pocket, about the same angle that Patfull had at the other end. Same result, I think. He's kicked it narrow, minor score.
He was desperately looking for somebody inboard, but he just didn't get back behind his mark quick enough so that he could do that, because he knew that that was going to be a tight angle. So reasonable effort at goal, but no biscuits.
Chris Gowans in pretty good form. 33 goals, 17 now for him. Knights, wobbly old ball to half back. Tyson. I think that's the first time we've called him to ball ace. Just drew the man beautifully over the top. About to be run down. Massey by Guerra.
Yeah,
Copped him right on the ear.
Yeah.
And we'll pay it downfield.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough too. It was late. Just give him a nice fat ear.
Yerbury got it to James. Neil on his own, got a bit of space, tries to work it back into the corridor. The target's Yerbury, way goes Schooler. Patfull, who's been dangerous, locked up by Thomas. Good tackle, and that is bread and butter for Centrals. They will tackle and tackle all day. There's Chris Massey.
It's a bit good for Norwood, deep inside their 50 to make sure that they get their hand on it, get another goal. But Chris Massey did well, earned that free kick and got it up the ground, another 50.
Ball ace took it out of the pack, couldn't snap it though. Here's Chris Gowans breaking after Bello got the hand pass out. Dawes did well, almost took the mark, got it to the front of the pack. James over the top to Gallagher, met hard. Gallagher was good enough to get the hand pass to Tyson, skirting wide. He kicks it back in towards the goals, and Schooler, well and truly too tall, with off the hide, able to hold off Patfull. So Central's come out of defence. Perfect kick by Healy, finds Hopwood. In turn, James Gowans is the target. 3-on-1. Here comes Norwood. At the front, Coulter roved it well, but in the end was tackled well. Sodas get a touchdown there.
Touch, nearly got a smack in the head.
What's that nose?
Yes, don't want the nose to be any further damage. Thank you very much.
Boundary throw in. The legs by 15 points, about to tick into 20 minutes in the first term. Schooler knocked it down. Massive red legs there. Nicholas tried to get it to Massey. Well done, Guerra. Just provided a bit of physicality there. Just locked him up. Boundary throw in.
Norwood have been far more intense. They've opened up this quarter really well, and I just reckon Centrals, it's taken a while for them to settle in.
You need to make them pay on the scoreboard, and they haven't been able to do that. Going hard for the ball. Free kick. A throw against Nicholas.
Yeah, umpire in best position for that one. We couldn't see that at all, so we'll go with the man in white.
Oh, we always do.
Oh, exactly.
We respect those men in white, Tim Geneva. Bello gets the free kick, and Guerra kicks a very high kick to half forward. Shell at the front, couldn't take the mark. Crumbs, Dawes, got it to Daniels, jagged it off a step. Marked by Schooler, wants to get it on to Healy. Healy runs into a brick wall in the name of Clements. They take it away through Gallagher, who gives a bit of ground back to Dawes. Dawes spots ball ace, good kick on a full burst. Scotty Ball Ace gets a lead into the pocket, not a good option. Off to Hyde, just winning the football at the moment in front of Patfull. Shares it with Steinburner, back to off to Hyde. Wobbly old kick, clean bowls Massey. Close to the boundary line, Coulter keeps it in, no. Boundary throw in, the kick by Ball Ace. Into the pocket, Tim.
That was my comment, Michael. I agree totally, mate. He should have come back into the... He had 2 targets in the keyway, ignored that, went wide. And that's probably what Norwood have done wrong in this quarter and why they probably haven't got another couple of goals on the scoreboard. And Off the High played that one beautifully in front this time of Patfull and ran it up the boundary beautifully like a defender.
Robin onto the ground and into the ruck. So he'll get another opportunity to get a tap away here. Beaten the first time perhaps by Schooler.
Jeremy Off to Hyde is the busiest player on the ground at this stage. 5 kicks and 5 handballs.
Well, you'd expect you to be busy considering the forward entries Norwood's had. Here's Bello, almost socketed it off the ground. Massey ducked the head in there. Now coming the other way, and caught in the end. Bratton will get a bounce down just outside Central's forward 50. They trail by 15 points. We're into time on in the opening term. The Adelaide Oval, it's clouded over a bit, but still a wonderful afternoon. Schooler just thumping it forward. Norwood through doors. Got a hand pass out. I don't think he meant it to hit James, but it did. James then goes back sensibly towards the boundary. Massey was caught. Gowan's coming the other way. Couldn't get a kick away. Gee, it's tight in there. Finally, we'll get a bounce down.
Well, late in this term, if Centrals could sneak a goal, you'd say they've had a reasonable quarter. But really, it's been all Nord and haven't been able to make them pay just yet.
Changing the ruck for Central Districts. Paul Schooler coming off for a well-earned rest, and Damien Arnold onto the ground.
Thanks, Mark. Knocked on by Coulter. Taken by James Gowans. Shot at goal. He screws it a little bit too far, James Gowans. They don't miss too many, the Twins.
Let the hair go too, the Twins, haven't they? They've got the shaggy wigs on at the moment. So even easier to pick them out. Not.
Yeah, you can pick them out, but you can't pick one of them from the other. So, ball in quickly. Dawes, educated kick around the corner. Well done. Was spent Knights before he actually got the ball. Now the hand pass forward releases Karslake. Inside 50 with the long kick. Wanting a mark up there. Patfield did well, got his man away from the ball. Question of how fast can you run? And in the end, Centrals do well to hold it up just near the line. And lurking there was Robbie Neal.
Good effort, Brooks, in the end. That was really desperate. Could have been a late goal for Nord, and the foot race was on with Robbie Neal, and he got in there first and dived on the footy and caused a bounce.
Want to knock it through? Oh, well done by Bound. Got the kick away touched, I think. What does the umpire think? No! Goal! Well done by Stewie Bound. He's got two.
Well, mate, I've been hanging around footy for a long time. They'll never pay those ones touched. It doesn't matter what it's come off. They are just quick reaction stuff out of a pack. Brilliant. Even if he did get a hand to it, they don't pay him. That was brilliant. He deserved his goal then. He was the only one that really wanted it in the ruck contest. Probably would be disappointing from Central's point of view. Late in the quarter, you get your ruckman and you smash that one through for a behind.
6 kicks already to Stewie Bound.
Yeah, he's doubled his goal tally for the year too. Before today, he had 2 goals 2. He's got 2 goals 1 just in 1 quarter of football. So good effort by Bound. Back in the centre, taken by Gallagher. Kick off the side of the boot. Well read by Hopwood. Got a free kick for a nudge in the back. And Karslake just letting him nose around. Hopwood, state defender. Very, very good player. Runs off half-back. Has Arnold short, but decides to load it up long just to a contest. Getting back there is Robran. Nah. Had his name written all over that in front of Cowan. Uses Knights. Knights is a little bit confused as to where to go and decides to go to Bound. They have gone the long way home, Norwood. They do lead by 20 points. Kick by Bound to half forward. Hereda couldn't quite hang on to it. Yerbury's got him locked up. Thomas. Karslake there, also ball ace. And not wanting to give up the footy, Paul Thomas. Have another bounce, umpire Tony Day with a footy in hand. Knocked down sharp by Gowans to Steinburner. We haven't called in too much, Nathan Steinburner. He'll kick to half forward, honouring the lead of Cowan. Well played, Thomas. Brilliant roving by Bello. Bello just chips it in short. Can he hold on to it? Shell. 1 grab 2. No, that defence holding up well. Knight's got it to Dawes, to Thomas, who's really got a kick in hope. And that was a good kick. A good kick, and finds Haythorpe just in front of Healy. Haythorpe got a man running on the outer side in Tyson. Good kick by Haythorpe. And spots him up. Bit of pressure there from Swatala. But Tyson will load it up.
Well, he doesn't choose to load it up in the end. He goes short to James. He's had plenty of stats in the first quarter. Another handball there off to Jono Robran. Bounce was awkward. Was good enough to get it. Then he went back looking for James. Centrals with the numbers. Robran goes in again. Umpire will call for a bounce.
Good contest there. Haythorpe and Robran. Hopwood and Robran. Very good 50-50 contest.
Norwood by 20 points. Been a good start, exactly what they wanted. Their finals hopes perhaps hinging on this game and not in their own hands in any case. Waiting on the destiny perhaps of the Eagles and what they're doing.
Yeah, but all you can do is win and make sure that you keep your own chances alive, and they've started this first term pretty well.
Almost a quarter time. Ball down again, Robert and Arnold go at it. Arnold had the better of it. Down to Slade. Wasn't the greatest of hand passes, but he'll get a free kick in the end for in the back.
That was definitely their good decision, and Slade starting to come into it a bit. Himself and Bello and the Gowans and these guys have just got to start getting front of centre, start earning the first footy.
Now towards half forward, looking for Cowan. We haven't called his name too often, but he's taken that mark. Inside quickly and absolutely set up. Gowans was lucky that he just got a high tackle coming in there. Very, very lucky. Just ducked into it.
Thomas copped him high, but a bit unlucky.
Sets it up. Shell buffeted out of the way. In the end, well done by the Norwood defence. Shell hasn't looked like getting a touch at the moment. Norwood clear it to Neal. He's in a bit of trouble. Steinbrenner, who's so quick. Neal was even quicker with the hands, though. Now to Massey, and then to Brett James. And from defence, finds Robin in space. Well done to Brett James.
Doesn't waste too many footballs, Brett James.
It's a bit of experience. Running off. He's bound. In fact, it's Knights again. So Knights on that left boot, finding Tyson just working his way into the game. Has Knights again. Good running by the half-back Knights. He'll kick it long. He'll kick it inside 50. He's kicked it to a 3-on-1.
Oh, what's that?
Well done. Off to Hyde. Just got a hand on it. To Brooks. Tim Ginniver just about falls off his chair. Taken by Hay. Back to Brooks. It's quarter time at the Adelaide Oval. Good quarter for Norwood. They lead the Bulldogs 3-4-22. The Bullies just 2 behinds.
Well, that was a great quarter, wasn't it, for the Redlegs? They really opened up with a lot more intensity, Michael, and I thought that they know where their destiny is. They have to win to keep any sort of chance alive for that Final Four, and they just really worked the ball well, and they had guys dropping back across half-back and taking marks, and Knights, I thought, was exceptionally good across there and making sure that he set up a lot of attacks. And you know, in the end, the goal kickers, 2 to Bound and 1 to Patfull, those two worked pretty well together, I thought, trying to keep enough room to lead for each other, and in the end they dominated the contest. 19 inside 50 there, as you can see, to 7. I thought that was the big difference. Probably 3 goals for not enough in the end, and they'll be disappointed by that, but they can keep that work rate up. They will then make a good effort into the breeze.
Well, Norwood leading by 20 points at the moment. They've got some grand plans as to what to do with the finals, and well, to discuss that, we've got the general manager of the Norwood Football Club with us, David Walk. And Walkie, some ideas of how you might play finals. The idea of playing home finals in suburban grounds is unheard of in the SANFL, but you think it can work?
Well, you see an opportunity, Neil, for football to keep money in football and to create an atmosphere at suburban grounds that you just can't achieve during the minor round.
Well, now you were talking about putting a paper before the SANFL. Have you managed, in between all your other duties, to get that paper out yet?
Well, certainly my first responsibility is to make sure Norwood win a few games before the end of the year. But I'm working through that and getting some statistics together to hopefully build a case that's irrefutable.
Yeah, well, of course, at the moment, Norwood are going to struggle to make the finals. I guess that's also puts it on the back burner at the moment.
Well, yeah, that's certainly our first focus is getting Norwood into the finals, and whilst that's possible, we do everything possible for that.
And developments at the parade, where are we at in terms of trying to sell your club facilities and perhaps create some more across the road just behind the grandstands?
We're hoping to meet with some councillors in a couple of weeks to show them exactly what we're planning on doing at the footy club and get their support for it. But there's certainly a few other developments that we're waiting on at the moment. Certainly
a battle for you, there's no doubt about that.
Oh, I think it's a battle for just about every club other than those that have a thriving pokies environment.
Yes, and that is a struggle, of course, for a number of SANFL clubs. North Adelaide hard hit. You've approached North Adelaide about playing at the parade too.
Oh, I think the Norwood Oval has a capacity to probably have 15 league games there a year, and that would be tremendous for the competition, I think, because it's a ground that's well supported by spectators and the public. So if we can get more games of football there, then I think that's in the best interest of the whole competition.
And financially, where's Norwood at the moment? I mean, traditionally, I guess one of the powerhouses on and off the field, but where's Norwood going to finish financially this year?
Well, there's no question we're hurting at the moment, Neil, and for that reason we need to sell the social club. That we can control our destiny at the moment, but we certainly don't want to get into a position where we're not controlling our destiny.
Do you in some ways, I guess I'll use the word resent, but do you resent some of the protests and some of the problems that you've had with the local people?
I think it's terrific that people still have passion for the footy club, and that's the point I would make first and foremost. But it'd be great if they could understand what we're trying to do. That all we're trying to do is create a revenue stream that enhances the future of the footy club.
And the other thing with that revenue stream, can you honestly look at it and say, well, next season we're going to be able to recruit as we did in the past?
Next season we'll target specifically as we have previously, and hopefully come up with one or two that might be able to enhance our chances of playing finals.
Well, let's hope so. And I guess it's a bit of a problem, and it's a long-term problem that you need to solve for the future of the Norwood Football Club. Good luck with it. We're going down to have a listen to what the Norwood coach, Gary McIntosh, is saying in the huddle.
And Bounty, when Nicey did come through, we needed one of you to go over to work over there to present. You know, that's your job. The kick-ins, fellas, I think the kick-ins are working pretty well. We're pushing them, actually. They're pushing them into the pocket, which is pretty important. Let's make sure we keep the corridor closed, all right? That's where we want them to kick in, all right? Right. The other one was, remember what we spoke about those ball-ups, you blokes? The ball up here, all right? Remember what we spoke about? Centre half forward coming into here, all right? The other half forward here. Remember it? Yeah. All right? Now, I watched you, Cars, and you actually run into here. When the ruck went, you run on this side. You have to hold your ground in here amongst them, all right? Centre half forward, whether it be Yerbs, McEntee or Bounty, one of you's got to come here, the other one sits himself in here. All right? You got that? Yep. Now, with the Rada dropping back into the pocket
Well, it was a terrific performance by Norwood with the assistance of the Breeze in that first quarter. Very buoyant group. Gary McIntosh just urging his players to remain disciplined. We know the Central District's midfield is quite often their key. He wants his players to be aware of them in the middle of the ground as they do break off when Norwood have possession, waiting for a turnover. Mac has also got his little bit of paper there showing the players exactly his roadmap for how he wants them to play this next quarter.
Well, I'll need a roadmap perhaps. They've been going via the Cape so far. Kevin White of Lee Creek, though, our top tipper for last week, and he wins tickets to the grand final. As we look overall at the top 10, Brian Flowers leading the way. Well done to him with 66. He's crept 2 points clear. Don't forget, abc.net.au/SA footy is the place to be for all your footy tips. As we see the players out there, and Norwood just taking their time breaking up from the huddle, as opposed to Centrals, who are the defenders there just discussing what they're going to be about this quarter. Tim Ginnivan, they've got the job in front of them, the defenders, and Gary McIntosh would be very happy with his situation at the moment.
Yeah, I think he would have liked a bigger score on the scoreboard, but besides that, the work rate was tremendous. If they can keep it up into the Breeze, he'll be pleased with that as well. But, you know, just that getting that huddle around that little bit of paper, I'm just wondering, I know the club's struggling, I might give them a few bob for a whiteboard, maybe.
Perhaps so. Mark Soderstrom with Michael Taylor, one of Macca's assistants.
Thanks, Neil. Kingo, it's a good start. A little disappointed with the finish?
Yes, a little bit, because we're, I suppose, Central's pretty good in the back half, and we just seem to miss a couple of easy goals, and although it's a pretty good start for us.
And two of the inexperienced players in defence, Matty Thomas and Ben Knights, really leading the way?
Certainly were. Matty's only played the last 2 weeks after hurting himself, so he's been a plus for us.
Thanks, Michael.
No worries.
Underway in the second term. The Legs lead by 20 points. Bartamucci tries to get through. Thomas, good tackle by Thomas. Guerra, very good on the ground. Handball, not as good as he would like. Taken by Nicholas. To Dawes. Good pressure. Good pressure. Yeah, Guerra wanted to make up for that handball that didn't hit the target, so pressure Dawes into kicking that out of bounds on the full. There he is, Brent Guerra. Forgotten man of Port Adelaide power, but gee, he's been unlucky. He has, Brent Guerra. We get a game in most other league clubs.
A bit like Polton, isn't he? They don't do anything wrong, and unfortunately, just depth.
Long kick by Thomas, penetrating kick on the tail of that Breeze. Over the back doors, has to work pretty hard. Ball just pops out the back. In goes Swatala, got it to Healy. Healy just kicks it forward. Just bounces through from behind, so that Breeze, maybe 3 or 4 goals to right of screen. There's Daniel Shell.
You just wonder, we're a minute into the second term, and Central's now destiny in their hands in this second term, but just wonder whether the players, motivation-wise, probably can't lose a double chance, and yeah, maybe just strolled into this one. But they're a good enough side and a good enough team to snap out of it.
Norwood seems to be a good team at the moment. They haven't been able to maintain consistency in season 2003. That ball smothered out of bounds. Ball ace, the man doing the kicking.
Recovered pretty well from that broken hand that he copped, and actually seen the lump on the back of that hand. It's a fair lump, but I'm telling you, it's still there.
Here's Gallagher. He's caught straight away, having the ball palmed down to him.
Him and Ball Ace have been good around the footy, pretty lively.
Bello, always lively. James Gowans strikes a tackle, gives it to his brother Chris. Then to Guerra. Great smother by Karslake. If he can handle it, he's got the pace to get away. Also the skills, well done. Off to Gallagher, round the corner, and he gets it as far as the wing. Hay wants to centre up the ball, does so. Slade opposed to Knights, almost took the mark, did take the mark according to the umpire, not according to some of the crowd. He'll get 25 perhaps. You just look at that smother again from Karslake. Knights immediately wide to Tyson. Tyson looks down towards half forward, comes inboard and high, not a great kick. Hay will fly and punch down the ground. Hay then palms it off to Cowan, haven't called his name too many times, blasts it down towards half forward. Favours Sainsbury, but Sainsbury unable to handle it, out of bounds at half forward right for Central District.
What did Ronnie Fuller call those kicks the other day? Chimney kicks, didn't he?
He did.
Bringing down the chimney, that one.
I hadn't heard that one before, but what an interesting saying.
Boys, Roy Laird has put Sainsbury onto the ground, removed Coulter, just looking for a bit of speed up forward.
Bit of spark, he'll give you that. Bit of goal sense too. All kicked off the ground, marked by Borlace in front of Thomas.
25. Just trying to hold play up there, Thomas, because he knew everybody was running, trying to give his teammates time.
Bit of niggle there. Borlace squares it up looking for Neal on the outer side of the ground, using the football well. He had Bratton in short, decides to go to the long lead from Yerbury. The big man's got a stretch, got there, did all the hard work and fumbled it right at the end and then couldn't pick it up below his knees.
Look, he's got a job there at centre forward to just keep presenting himself and making contest, but you've got to take those marks.
Just relaxed, I think.
Missed a bit of footy this year with that ankle injury. Yerbury try and crash through, umpire calls for it.
You'd have to say that's confidence too, Neil, going for his chest when you have plenty of time to get your hands out in front of your face.
I was a bit surprised how much toe he was showing Brian Hereda there. Got to the contest pretty well. Bound, just dishes off looking for Bratton. In goes Guerra. Umpire calls for the James Gowans.
Great commitment at the football then by Guerra, and you have to win those sort of contests regularly. Look at that. Beautiful 50-50.
A little bit of how's your father off the ball there, and Borlace has got a free kick about 40 metres out on an angle. Just Bartamucci having plenty to say. Tyson Hay comes in.
It's going to be another 25.
And another 25. Well,
they've got the better of them in these sort of fracas, haven't they? Because they've come off second best on these Centrals.
He's going to take him right to the line, so that one must have been a 50. So Scotty Borlace to kick goal number 4. And his first. They don't miss him from there. And Thomas knocks him to the ground again, so he's pretty lucky maybe not to have another go at it.
Let's have a look at this. Thomas and Borlace just going one another. Thomas just threw him down. I mean, there's not much in it, but it's just one of those things that you just don't want to take the risk.
It's another free kick, I think.
A bit of heat in the situation at the minute.
I think we're going to see another free kick about 40 metres out from goal.
So we didn't even get back to the centre.
Boys, just off the ball, Ben McEntie's coming to the forward line, replacing Stuart Bound.
Well, another situation, second time in a few weeks we've seen this, with a free kick and perhaps a goal without the ball going back to the middle. And Bartamucci, who was involved there with the Gowans boys and pretty much half the Central side, misses. And so we won't get a centre bounce. We'll go to a kick out from goal.
Quite bizarre, really, but in the end, you can get pretty heated, but you've got to make sure you go pretty heated at the footy, and that's where you'll earn it. That's where you'll get your free kicks.
There's a bit of heat out there at the moment. Hay kicks it long, looking for Hereda. The ball just spinning on its end. Hereda kept it in. Well done. Handball wasn't his best. Steinburner in a bit of trouble. Good enough to get the footy. Kicks forward. Bouncing ball. Shell worked out of it by Daniels, who's done pretty well on Daniel Shell, although you'd have to say the delivery to Daniel Shell hasn't been all that good.
You're spot on, Michael Maney, and there hasn't been a lot of it either. Only 9 times inside 50, and not a lot of them have gone to him. And I'll tell you what, Stevie Daniels is one of the closest wearing players that you'll have as a defender.
Ex-Port Adelaide power player. Inside the attacking 50 for Centrals. Robbie Neal there. Working both ends of the ground at the moment, Robbie Neal. So showing his versatility. Another change on the bench there, Mark.
Yeah, Michael Roy Laird probably not happy with the lack of discipline by Paul Thomas. He's come off the ground and replaced by Coulter.
Just to cool him down a bit. Neil, short half-distance kick. Steinburner just jammed it on the boot, trapped by Dawes. That is good play. That's not. The handball chopped off by Healy. Healy on the right leg just loads up a high ball, which Jeff drifts and floats away for a behind.
Well, they really needed that from their captain. They really needed that goal, and I think it's only going to take one goal for Centrals to settle down and get into this, because they always keep to their structure. They keep switching play. They'll keep their setups correct, and they'll keep disciplined for the majority of the game, but they need a goal just to get them going.
Healy with the punch there. Chris Gowan drove the ball back to James in the centre. In the corridor, and James Gowans will line up from goal from 40 or maybe a little bit more than that when he kicks the ball.
Kept his head up beautifully. I just love that. You know players are coming down on you. Keep your head up, take the mark.
Gary McIntosh was happy with the kick-ins in that first quarter. Weren't many of them, mind you. There were only the two, but that one perhaps letting the Redlegs down a bit.
With the breeze at his back, it should go through about post high.
Gowans lays back, does as suggested by Soda. And here we go. We'll just see if the Dogs can now produce a couple in a row as they kick their first of the afternoon at the 8-minute mark of the second term.
Took them a long time. Here was the contest here. Healy did well. Good hit. And well rode by Cowan of all people, big fella. And then the brothers combine once again. Chris to James on this occasion. And they will always look to go inboard and make sure that the angle kicking for goals not that great.
Back in the centre. 4-5, plays 1-4. Healy. Scrubby kick. Guerra tries to knock it on brilliantly to Chris Gowans. Underground handball to James. To Steinburner, who gets around Daniels. Puts the foot down and gets mown down. Brilliant smother. I think it was by the young man in Bratton. Great play. Ball out of bounds. Gee, I'd like to give the young man a pat on the back there, young Bratton, for mowing this down.
Well, they were on the momentum swing then, weren't they? And that is just a fantastic... Look at the effort to get there, then dive and smother. Superb desperation.
Bit of pace too. There's no mug, Steinburner. Knocked down. Oh, Nicholas in there with a stray boot. Just endangered his own teammate there just for a moment. The umpire will bounce it.
You couldn't get that one clear in the end. Just decided to be a stalemate, but look at the effort of Bratton here, diving, getting his hands to it. 3 really good smothers today, 2 from Norwood.
Ball still in that forward 50 for Centrals. Lovely tap, but Dawes intercepted Schooler's effort, and now will be rewarded, I think, with a free kick. Wait on. Who's going to get it?
There goes Stevie Daniels.
Daniels squares immediately. Neil, they got some run here and a loose player. Short to Gallagher. Karslake is moving for him. Next in the chain is, well, they haven't got much forward, so he'll have to go long, I would have thought. Karslake from the centre wing up towards half forward. McAtee flew. Now Hay, slick hand pass, Hopwood. Back coming the other way, that wasn't a mark, but the umpire paid it. Cowan, I'm sure he half volleyed it. Cowan now inside 50, 2-on-1 he's kicked to. Coulter gets rid of his man illegally, said the umpire, and it will be a free kick to Knights. Now Neil, far side of the ground, Centrals struggling up forward, and Norwood holding up in defence.
Scotty Ball-Ace, who's had plenty of the football this afternoon, runs away. And the kick out of bounds on the full.
I'd be disappointed with that because he's played so well today, Scott Ball-Ace, and under no pressure just to kick that out of bounds on the full is inexcusable.
Guerra, kick chopped off by Bello. There's the half volley. Kicked forward by Bello. Coulter in the contest. Front and square. Thomas desperately wants to get it to Neil, who wants Tyson, so they're out of trouble again. Not much ahead, so James Tyson decides to have a couple of bounces. Out of half-back, wobbly old kick. Knocked away by Hopwood. A chance here for Centrals. Bello gets it to Healy. Healy will kick it long. Looking for Gowans. This is Chris Gowans. In fact, it's James. Wish one of them would have a crew cut. Taken by James. Away. Gowans dives on the footy. And the umpire says it will push, was it? And a free kick will go to the Doggies. Bartamucci off by the looks of things, Sodas.
Yeah, he's been replaced by Chris Massey.
Let's have a look at him fall into the back. Squared up, looking for Bello at half forward. Good kick. And Marco Bello will kick from 45 metres out directly in front.
Did tell you they always look to come inboard just to open up the angle of the goal, and they're very unselfish, Centrals. They'll make sure that they get it to the best person in the best position.
And that person is Marco Bello. He's had a good year. He's kicked 12 goals, 8. So pretty reasonable chance from here. Former Victorian.
And 25 metres. Marco Bello knew it. I don't think anybody else did, though.
We're all shaking our head here.
What was that for? Language?
I was only looking at Marco and he was pointing to the goal face. He knew he had it. I don't know why.
Certainly.
Well, Norwood got one easy one at around about the 5-minute mark of this turn through ball ace. So Bello gets his first of the afternoon, and Central's just their second.
As I said, I think it just took that one goal, didn't it, to break the ice for Centrals to get their momentum swinging, and now I think they're well and truly back in the contest.
Gary McIntosh putting John Robran back into the ruck. Tim Nicholas having a rest through the rotation.
Just felt it half forward here before that attack went rebounding into Central's forward line. Norwood had nobody front and centre. Newbury, I think, was the only one front and centre, which is not your ideal player that you need at the foot of the ball, but also I think James Tyson's tumble punt really did some damage to the Norwood Footy Club.
Schooler again. James read it best for Norwood. Looked to be held on to. He certainly thought so. The umpire didn't. Ball ace. Nice little left footer out to Tyson. See what this kick's like. Tyson called a play on. Oh, that's a terrible kick too. Up in the air. Yerbury comes. Good mark. Had to take that. Make James Tyson feel a lot better as he goes inside forward 50. Not the greatest of kicks. Patfull comes late. Schooler, though, with the mark. Quick hand pass off. Set up Hopwood somewhat. Now Healy off the left leg, out wide, looking for Steinberner in front of Bratton. Takes the mark and takes off. Bratton, good chase. Very good chase. Couldn't quite get him. Inside half forward with the kick. Thomas comes and meets it, takes the mark. Kick to kick at the moment between the half backs.
I like this, Thomas. Reminds me of Ian Stazanowski, the way he plays with a long sleeve.
Might have seen the little article on that earlier in the year, Tim.
Is that where I got it from?
Kick by Robran, marked by Daniels on the outer side. The kicking from both sides with no pressure on whatsoever has been a bit ordinary today.
That's about the third or fourth really poor kick I've seen with no pressure. And the second one I've seen go out of bounds on the full. And it really cost you those turnovers. And Norwood, with all their efforts in the first term and early in the second, have really let themselves down here. You have to fetch your own footy when things are under construction.
I bet you that construction worker's being paid to be there and he didn't want to get the ball.
Sainsbury got it to his skipper in Healy, who kicks a long kick, looking for Cowan in the middle of that. Over the back, Cowan not paid the mark. Neil was good. James uses Clements. They're running out of a bit of space. Robran kicks it down the line, looking for Bound, and there's another one. Out of bounds on the full, so these errors are really costing the legs and the doggies.
Yeah, they're called clangers.
Healy, the kick rove well by McEntee. Patfull, V off to Hyde. Off to Hyde was just a little bit too good on that occasion, and he'll kick them out of defence.
Good clash that back there between two young players with AFL potential. Tyson comes from behind, beats him on a 2-on-1. I would have thought he was held. No call from the umpire. Brooks, long hand pass to Hopwood. Hopwood, oops, well, not the greatest of bounces. Hopwood in trouble now. Uses the fend, wasn't the greatest of hand passes, perhaps missed it. Central's out of defence though. Slade uses the run of Brooks, well done. Carslake with good chase, down towards Guerra. Norwood, opportunity to clear. Bound intercepts off the left foot. In fact, it was probably Knights. Gee, they look alike. It was Knights. Gallagher, inboard, dangerous. Healy pushes it away. Schooler now. Steinberner. Bratton shuts him down. Well done. Did well not to.
Tackle.
Well, he didn't do well to get out of that tackle. He was caught well and truly. He did well not to offend first up, and then Schooler wrapped him up well and truly. Centre half back.
That's good to see a bit of aggression in the big fella like that, and a damn good tackle. Had to get really low to do it.
Centre half back for Norwood. Centre half forward for Central's Guerra. Good vision. Healy, long, high. Thomas dropping back. 2-on-1 the shell. Thomas knocks it to the front. James Gowans looks to the centre corridor, as is their way. Central's loaded up again. Knights and or Daniels. Daniels takes the mark, and they'll come clear again of defence. Norwood doing pretty well in this second term against the flow.
Robran from half-back. Can he hit a target this time? They haven't been hitting targets, both teams, so far. Robran's kick, looking for Tyson. Swatala in there. Tyson gave Swatala a nudge. Taken by Slade, who uses the lumbering Arnold, who just kicks a high kick. Thomas will fly. Well done by Cowan. Gives you a contest every time. Guerra looking for Hopwood. Can't find the target. Robran couldn't go with the footy. Thomas just bounced off a couple. Jagged a very clever kick out looking for James, who gives some ground back to Neil. Now Neil just kicks a long kick. McEntee's going to fly and take a good mark from the back. McEntee has them running for him. Borley says it's mine, wants to dish off to Tyson. Tyson with a worm-burning kick looking for Patfull. Well played off to Hyde. On a full burst, Patfull just sat on his backside. Couldn't get rid of the football.
Just don't know, McEntee should have marked that. He was 3 deep. Hay and Brooks should have sorted that out between one another and kept McEntee out of the contest. Good mark.
Forward, not a high bounce. Ball knocked out. McEntee, wobbly old kick. Oh, kicked off the ground. Was it kicked in midair by Patfull? He's a clever player. Just the one behind.
Now you got a good footy brain when you do that sort of thing. Just see it floating in here. Knew he couldn't get his hand to it, so why not try and get a boot and deflect it through? Intelligent.
Going off the Hyde. Get the hand in there for Central District. Made the soccer analogy early in the game. Patfull trying to keep pace with that little effort. It's their first score for 15 minutes in this quarter, or rather 13 minutes in this quarter, Norwood. It's hit a dry patch well and truly.
Both sides have been a bit sloppy with their skills in the last 10 though, haven't they?
They have indeed. Here's Hay out wide to Hopwood. Hopwood met late. Umpire said down the ground. It was only late by a few, well, microseconds really. Massey, who was on his way off the ground, just keeps on jogging through.
I thought, I'll get one in before I go.
Sloppy again. Bratton, his vision wasn't. His vision was good. His execution wasn't. So Centrals will get another opportunity. Steinburner from outside 50. Norwood with plenty of players in there. Steinburner loads it up. Looking for Cowan from behind. Thomas couldn't get it away from the big guy. Good mark by Cowan. Hasn't had a lot of possessions in this particular game, but he's a very, very strong player.
Well, that's better, isn't it? Up there, making a contest. That's a good contested mark in front of Thomas, putting plenty of pressure on, and now he's just got to finish off, and his kicking for goal hasn't been too bad, what I've seen.
Tim, Paul Thomas has paid for his earlier sins at the expense of Adam Swatala.
He booed 8 a couple of weeks ago, Neil. Luke Cowan against North.
See what he's like this afternoon. He hasn't had too many opportunities. Interesting to see those inside 50s. They've evened up. 23 for the Redlegs and 20 for the Bulldogs. So the Doggies have... Moggy will give us a count on the second quarter in a moment as Cowan comes in, starts it right, fades it back. Goal umpire likes it. Redlegs in a bit of trouble, you would have thought. Here come the Doggies.
Inside 50s this quarter, Norwood 4, Central's 13.
Well, a great kick by Luke Cowan to finish up what was a great mark and really just get the Dogs settled. As I said, I was going to take one goal to get them going, and I think they've done that now and got that scoreboard ticking along, and now within 8 points of the opposition. And I think we'll come in at half-time and really set about their third quarter, which will be the one that makes or breaks this contest.
Crucial couple of minutes. Arnold, sharked by James. Outer side, Bartamucci, Carslake, got a handball out. Robran just slipped. Bello, they share it, taken by Hopwood. Kick forward. Cowan at the front, knocked away this time by Thomas. Tyson gets the scraps at the back. Tries to knock it forward to Dawes. That was clever play. Got it back himself, Tyson. This time he's caught. Hit loose handball. Healy hemmed in on the boundary line. Good play. Ducked back inboard to Cowan. Cowan's kick into the pocket. Marked by Neil. Well done by Neil. Just read the football well. Good football brain. Robbie Neil kicks it to half-back. McEntee wants to fly again. Can't take it. Through James's legs. Thomas. Knights. Runs out of room. Back inboard. McEntee. Scrubby old kick. James Gowans. It's a call from Hopwood. Ignored the lead from Shell, went to Guerra on his own, thought about it for a second. He'll kick from 40.
Yeah, he's basically got the breeze right behind him, and he's a very good leg anyway, so won't have any trouble with the distance.
Good work by Hopwood, just spotting up Brent Guerra. Let's have a look. He's kicked 17 goals, 14 this year, so he's had plenty of shots from his limited games at the Bulldogs this year. Brent Guerra. A great shot of it, that is. Just about replicates the kick from Cowan just a few moments ago, but the Dogs get within 2 points.
That's a lovely leg, isn't it? Just didn't deviate off the boot. And it was just good pressure again by Centrals. This time it's James Gowan just collecting the footy. A little give off to Hopwood and his left foot passing. Guerra thought about going, but why take a risk when you can go back and make certain of it?
Blood rule here, boys, with Jonathan Robin copping a nasty knock to the head.
It looks pretty ugly, doesn't it? So he might need some stitches.
Fix him up with a nose job during the week, Neil, I reckon.
Get across there, give you some tips.
Well, you can tell him about all the rehab that you've done. I'm sure it's been extensive, Siders.
Flat out, Neil, just resting up and reading about Central and Norwood all week doing my research.
23 minutes into the second term here, 2 points the margin. Norwood has come back to the field after leading by 20 at quarter time. Carslake over the top with a head pass to Tyson. He's got Bartamucci running for him. Bartamucci will want the left leg, and that's the way he goes. Takes off in a hurry. Down long, looking for McEntee. He'll fly. He won't get the mark. It'll come to the front. Hopwood clears for Centrals. Away goes Bello. Bello looks to the far side of the ground. There's nothing but space out there. He goes long looking for Guerra. Clements did well to get the punch in. Neal took his eyes off the ball and lost it. Now Cowan's over it. Wait on the umpire. We'll get a bounce.
There's some real old basic one-liner cliches in football, you know, man in front and that sort of thing. The old one up, one down trick. Well, Norwood have ignored that. Last time they've gone in their forward line, 3 up every time.
Cowan with the tap. Carslake, he's been quietened in this second term after starting so well. This is a kick forward by Haythorpe. Hereda will take it to the line. The pro. Played more than 250 games in this league, and
he's laughing because he can't believe he got away with that.
Yeah, he knew. I've seen you do it many a time in past days, Tim, and he's been doing it before you and now after you. He's still doing it. Brian Hereda, great player for Centrals.
Ball locked up, just forward of the wing for the Norwood Redlegs. We've had that lead whittled away. There's John Rodron. Not a good sight if you're a Redleg supporter. Off the ground. Ball run down. Hopwood. Carslake, who's been nippy. Locked up by Chris Gowans. Ball held to him.
Good tackle. Yeah, Jonathan Roberts just got to knock around that sort of eyebrow area, which there's not a lot of flesh, as we know, and a bit of skin on bone, and it bleeds pretty quickly. And looks horrible, but it probably only require 1 or 2 stitches.
They need the staple gun, as we saw in rugby league earlier in the year.
Oh, yeah. Cowan, by the looks of it, he's just gone up for the contest and copped him with an elbow.
Guerra just runs away with the football, kicks it long. Shell, in fact it was Schooler. Shell at the back with the long sleeves. Slade, well done by Dawes. He's got a handy boot on it and finds the line. Pound for pound, he'll give you 110%, that young man in Matty Dawes.
Yeah, him and Slade together, I mean, they're both sort of the 100% men, aren't they? They really give. So, love seeing blokes like that hit at the football.
Boundary throw in deep in the heart of doggy territory. Knights just work to the front to Neal, who's working hard back there. Off a step, ball ace, horrible kick, marked by Shell. Perhaps his first possession of the day, Ian.
Absolutely right, Michael, the very first one.
Still has that left leg. Man, left and right knees pretty heavily strapped, Daniel Shell. He's right on 50 and may just get the journey here with a bit of breeze.
Playing a little bit of basketball by the looks of those knee pads.
Bit of skateboarding, maybe.
You hope there's not swelling. As Shell lines up. Good kick, just fades away. Thump through for a behind. Didn't quite give it everything, Daniel Shell, but nonetheless, just about made it.
It's been a good effort by Centrals in this term, really, just to work their way back into it. I mean, it hasn't happened in huge momentum swings. It's just been hard work and getting it up in there and causing a contest and making sure that they get goals.
Now, if that looked awkward, it was probably because it was from Clements. He managed just to get the kick in to himself before he played on. Now Bratton on the far side of the ground. Long and high. Hereda got rid of his man and got crunched by his own man. Bartamucci picked up the crumbs. Inboard he went. Luckily, it fell for Gallagher off the left leg behind Tyson, but he's got a bit of space. Shell is chasing. He won't get there. Tyson off the left leg. McEntee the target. The punch came. This time Norwood has a rover there. Ball ace, snaps it up, round the corner. Carslake perhaps, no Bartamucci. Opportunity for Bartamucci, who looks to be limping. And I know there'll be no Centrals players weeping tears about that.
I think they might have just stepped on him. Might have just fell on him and stepped on his foot as he took that mark. But now he's got a good opportunity dead in front. He missed the last one from that controversial free kick. And he want to make up for it here.
Yes. Controversial free kick. The ball didn't return to the centre. That was at the 5-minute mark. Took them until the 18-minute mark to score a behind in this quarter after that. And now Bartamucci finally has a goal, and it's the first goal since the 5-minute mark, and we're now at the 27-minute mark of the second term, and Norwood kick away.
Well, Gary McIntosh will be very pleased with that. This time he had two front and centre, two none better than Ball Ace and Brett Jones, mind you, and just a short pass, took a while to come down, but took the mark, held his ground pretty well, Bartamucci, and finished off. But to get a goal late in this term, just before half-time, when Centrals had sort of got the last three, that was a good effort. And now just a nice steadier before half-time.
Jonathan Newbury gone into attack for Norwood, replacing Joel Patford.
Exodus back to 7 points. The difference. Arnold, you've got to get rid of it there. He does. Guerra on his non-preferred. All done by Neil, who's had some important touches back there. Tyson might have got a trip. Neil falls forward. No free kick. Umpire held onto the whistle. Good decision. Half-time at the Adelaide Oval. Entertaining game. Not a high-scoring one, but still plenty of pressure as James Gowans and Matthew Thomas acquaint themselves. And Chris Gowans comes over the top just for good measure. And a bit of a Donnybrook here as James Tyson gets in there. Daniel Shell. It's all happening, Tim.
Fantastic stuff, isn't it? Good way to finish off the half. Both sides going to go in fired up, and we'll get a really good third term.
Don't know if you'd be real happy if you're the parents of the little leaguers. It's on off the ball too, with Nicholas and Shell going at it as well. If you're the parents of the little leaguers who are on the fence there, you'd be pretty worried.
Are they right in front of them, Neil, are they?
They are, basically. They were all kneeling down. There they are. They were all kneeling down, the security guys, and there you go. One of the young lads looks like he might have been leaned on by one of the players, and finally it's all broken up, and at half-time it's a 7-point margin in favour of the Norwood Redlegs. We've got a match on, there's no doubt about that. Tim, take us through the goal kickers.
For Norwood, 2 to Bound, singles to Ball Ace, Bartamucci and Patfull, and for Centrals, all singles, Bello, Cowan, James Gowans and Guerra.
It was quite an end to the quarter, wasn't it? Players getting involved in a scuffle on the boundary line, and we're going to take a look at that. And of course, young lad from the mini league got well, roughed up a bit as we have a look at the Gowans boys getting involved and trying to rough up Thomas.
Yeah, well, you called it well, Neil. I didn't realise that the mini league boys were so close, and the boys got up. You can see them all smiling there at one stage, but one little fella got a little bit too close to the action.
Yeah, Angus Cale. It's the Evanston Primary School. They bring them out, the teachers, and they bring them out and they line them up along the boundary ready to go on. And unfortunately, they were just in the proximity, and young Angus got, don't know, maybe just pinned against the fence or something, but eventually he got back onto the ground.
In true Cale spirit, lots of courage.
You reckon there's some lineage there, do you?
It's got to be, doesn't there? But great stuff.
Yeah, he got some of his own back too. Out there making a couple of tackles and getting a few kicks, so well done to Angus Cale. Just watch it here as he just got a bit of his own back, bit of push and shove, nothing in that. I don't know that there was much in the push and shove involving the players in the leg side either, but...
Well, they're certainly both pretty fired up, and Norwood would be happy, I think, just to hang on there towards the end of that first half to get a late goal.
Down to Sodas on the boundary.
Well, Neil, we did see a little bit of action there, wasn't it? James Gowans and Matthew Thomas toe-to-toe, and surprise, surprise, Chris Gowans just happens to come in and make sure that his brother is okay, so...
Yeah, and so does, noticed you weren't involved, you staying back there, you've had the nose job, of course you wanted to protect that, I'm sure.
Well, no doubt, Neil, didn't want to get too close to all that going on. No real punches thrown, just a lot of push and shove. The good thing is, though, it does take both sides into the break at half-time with a lot of enthusiasm and energy, and hopefully that will come out in the third quarter.
Hope indeed. You mentioned the fight. Maybe we got some stats on that, or no, maybe just the normal ones.
Yeah, the big one for me that evened up was the inside 50s, and Norwood had just dominated that in the first term and ended up nearly even at half-time, and centre breaks very even, everything else. So they really worked hard to get themselves back into the contest, Centrals.
And just a quick look at scores from other grounds at halftime. South Adelaide leading West Adelaide by 7 points. South, amazing club, aren't they? They go down by heaps. They get some amazing wins, and at the moment leading Westies by 7 points. And the Eagles 37 points up on Glenelg. And I guess we all thought that would be a pretty tight one.
Well, at the moment, the Eagles looking after their own destiny, and South just get on that roller coaster ride and enjoy it.
Yeah, you never know what you'll get with the Panthers. Well, what will we get in the second half? Here's Michael Maney with the first bounce.
Let's hope we get a good contest in the second half. It's been a pretty tough first half. Umpire with ball in hand. The Legs lead by 7 points. Crowd got involved this close to the half-time break. Plenty of noise at the Adelaide Oval. Round 20 action. Out of there, James tried to get it. Carslake. He's got it out the back to Clements. It's a high kick. Running with the flight, a couple of players. Schooler just dished off to Guerra. Got a call from Coulter on the wing. Good kick. He's a good player, Brent Guerra. Great vision. Uses the football well. Coulter just loads it up toward half forward. Nicholas was there. Thumped away by Daniels from Cowan. Over the top, the spillage goes to Hopwood. Hopwood just screws it round the body. Thomas getting back for the Legs. Cop one around the ear for his corner. Taken by Neal. Neal just looks for the boundary line. Or will it fall in the hands of Tyson? Well done, James Tyson. Around one. Short kick. And spots up his man in James. Couldn't take the mark. Goes to Carslake. Back to Gallagher. Bello. Handball. Just in hope. Guerra couldn't run onto it. Ball ace tried to knock it forward. Bartamucci in there, they dive on the footy. So the intent is really there, and players are going to throw themselves into a physical contest in this second half, Tim.
Well, it's the third quarter, as I said, that when normally Centrals would get their game going and set the whole thing up and get away, and this is where Norwood, they just have to be as desperate as possible to get some early goals.
Hopwood, they're going backwards at the moment. Guerra loads it up, inside 50. Thomas gives his man a shove, then almost was able to take the mark. Players crashing in. A little bit more lively start to the second half than what we saw at the start of the game, Tim.
You just see Slade flying through the pack here, trying to get hold of it. Look at that.
Lost his feet, I think, trying to lay the shepherd. Expected to be able to lay the shepherd. In the end, lost his feet. Momentum just took him way past. Thomas off one step, high. Bratton will come from behind. Coulter with the big fly. Well done to Daniels, just a little kick out of there. Norwood, though, just can't break away. Hay slammed down by McEntee, and we'll get a bounce down inside the centre square. Right in the middle of the ground. Still a little bit of to-do off the ball.
Neil, the breeze this quarter has died down, so it won't be favouring the right side of the screen as much as it was earlier.
I know the players won't be worried, but it's a little cooler as well. Neal goes to the far side of the ground. Bartamucci favoured by the left leg. Hay got him in the back.
He nearly pulled this tackle off well there, but just fell into it.
Bartamucci knew what was coming too. Squares it up quickly to James. Norwood didn't perhaps do enough of this in the first half. Nicholas.
Run past, you'll get it, I reckon.
Well, the big ruckman's just ignored Dawes. Instead goes short and wide, so they've gone right around the 50 arc. Bratton had McEntee on a lead, but wasn't quick enough, or perhaps McEntee led too early. But Bratton waits. A lot of players inside the forward 50 now. And he's kicked into the middle of the Central's huddle of players. Schooler in the middle of the pack, couldn't take the mark. Bello, hand pass out to Healy. Almost intercepted by Carslake. 4-on-1. Carslake turns it around and gets it somewhere near the goals. Oh, what a bounce! No. Minor score. All very lacklustre in many ways.
Wasn't it, in the end? Carslake was the one who hit the football hard enough and got around too many players, then kicked it, and everybody wanted to watch it, see which way it was going to bounce, as if they had a bet on it.
We can bet on Guerra finding a target, that is for sure, and finds Hopwood, and just gives young Haythorpe one to go on with, and apologises and said, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. The umpire, he bought the apology, so Heath Hopwood, as Haythorpe stands the mark, umpire calls play on. Short to Guerra. Guerra. Well, they love to switch off to Hyde's, giving something just off screen at the moment. But Guerra pushes away. Will come this side of the ground to Brooks. Good lead by Brooks. Good strong hands in front of McEntee. Looks a player, Brooks.
Yeah, he's going to be, isn't he? It's one of those guys who's going to fit in like a Hopwood in defence, do his job week in, week out.
Kick, not good. And Nicholas, we saw him take half a dozen marks in the first term, or 3 or 4 at least. Pretty much in the same spot. Tim Nicholas plays kick behind play and gets in the gap pretty well for the legs. They just hold it up. Hopwood got close on the mark, kicks down the line. Well done, Haythorpe, after he copped that one in the nose a moment ago. Good mark out in front of Brooks. Has a man on short in Bratton. Bratton will want to play on. He kicks it long. That's a good kick by Bratton, just across the face of goal, one behind.
Having a few pops at goal again, Norwood, and we saw this in the first quarter where it took 12 minutes before they got a goal. And I just reckon that they really want to make the most of their advantage in this third term and get those early goals on the board when they've got the opportunities.
Guerra surveying what he's got in front of him, wants the far side of the ground, goes long and strong, and a very good kick finds Chris Gowans. Hereda breaks for him on centre wing. Quick hand pass to Hill. He's on his right leg, which isn't his right leg, if you know what I mean. And as a result, Thomas takes the defensive mark for Norwood. They'll want to quickly run it back. James. So the mark at half back. Quick look around. Ball ace calls him in the middle. Opts to go wide. Dawes. Props back inside. High. Sets it up. Allows the defensive punch to come. Oh, well done at the front by Bound, though. Now Bound looks up. A lot of Norwood, or rather a lot of Central's defenders back there. On the lead, Robrin. Yerbury, I should say, stretches and takes the mark. For some reason, I always have problems with those two players. And Robrin, meanwhile, is jogging on the boundary, trying to get on the ground.
In the end, that was a good mark. Ran full stretch to take that, but good mark by Bound. He's starting to get a lot more upper body strength now with age. Should develop into a good centre-half forward. Yerbury,
awkward kick, floats through for a goal, though. Important goal for Norwood. They've capitalised on some of the play they've had in this quarter so far.
Well, they've opened up well in the third term, as they did in the first, and good effort there by Bound, which created the goal for Yerbury. See him attack it. We saw him drop a chest mark earlier today, but he didn't make any mistake there. And then the kick, even though probably not executed textbook style, went through, and that's the main thing. And they've got that goal that they wanted.
Looked a bit awkward. He's kicked only 2 goals for the year, including that one, John Yerbury. So Norwood just go further ahead. Thumped by Schooler forward. Clements with a bit of pace off half-back. Just went to ground too easily, taken by Bello. Bello gets the handball to Kellett. Kellett has a bounce. Knights is trying to wear him down. Just used the football to Steinberner. Steinberner off a step has missed to the right-hand side. Promising build-up for the Doggies, and Steinberner couldn't cap it off for the goal.
Yeah, probably just put Steinberner on a little bit of the pump with that handball. He was flat-footed and had to squeeze the kick out and didn't quite get it back inside the goalpost. Better attack, though, by Centrals, a bit more lively.
Norwood's kick in comes from Neil. Goes long. Schooler will take the mark. No, he won't. Spills it. As a result, he almost got collected across the head by Bound, and we'll get a bounce down inside the centre square, slightly favouring Central's end of the ground.
I think I'd try and kick to a 50-50 anywhere bar Schooler, and that was probably lucky it didn't get repelled straight back at him.
Players just stretching for Centrals. Schooler, well done by Norwood, not by Carslake though. The handball was smothered. Ball ace on the bottom of the pack there. It's moved about 10 metres to centre wing before we get another bounce.
Important that ball ace for his side just keeps boring in, keeps winning possessions. Same with Gallagher around the footy. Carslake, Brett James will always win plenty of it.
Nicholas, lovely tap down to Dawes. We don't want rain today. They'll wait over the back. McEntee couldn't take it. All at ground level. Bartamucci copped one in the forehead, I think, and he may have hurt his knee there, Bartamucci, or his shin. Copped one on the way through. Bit proppy.
Bit of a pack that came running down on him, wasn't it?
Just trying to... He's going to come to the bench, Bartamucci. Mark Soderstrom will keep an eye on him. Schooler knocked it down. Hay, quick hands to Gowans. This is James Gowans. Cuts through the centre of the Adelaide Oval. Wobbly old ball to Shell. Good enough to trap it. Now where does he go? Good handball, looking for Healy. Chopped off by Bello. Bello kicks it long. Getting back is Knights. Can't take the mark. Coulter just rose it. Left footer and kicks a goal. Kept his feet. Intelligent stuff. You've got to be able to do that. Gives you another chance at the footy. In the end, I thought Bello might have ignored Chris Gowans through the corridor. Could have given off who was screaming for it, but then he's gone long, and Knights in the end just allowed Coulter to take off and get the loose footy. Probably would be disappointed with that. But a good goal for Coulter, and one that really needed to happen. Just have a look at Bartamucci's injury. And he's had somebody fall across that knee again. That happened Richmond Oval, I reckon, right?
Norwood out of the middle. Hopwood read it best. Guerra, he's the left footer, so he gets the ball, kicks it down towards half forward. Coulter, who just kicked a goal, takes a mark. Hasn't been sighted much this afternoon until that goal. Now he looks up. What's a lead? A lot of players back behind the ball for Norwood. Not much on offer inboard, so he just goes long. He is a big hoof of the ball. Nicholas couldn't take the mark. Now he's got it on the ground for Norwood. Don't know what to do with it. Dawes slips out a hand pass in there somehow. Kick forward by Shell twice. Second time for a minor score.
Good thinking, though. Tight situation, everybody around the footy. Why not just get it off the floor with the soccer and see what can happen? Never know. Could be an inspirational goal comes out of it. 7 points the difference. Favour of Norwood. Kick by Clements, looking for Nicholas. Ball over the back. Runners. Knights. Sat on his backside. Can't get it out of there. Don't let the ball get over the back. Centrals really want to punch that back into the forward 50. Get front and centre and make sure you're there for the crumbs. Ben Knights. Been in pretty good form for the legs. It's coming back into the side. Schooler just worked his way with muscle. Down. Thomas. Pushed onto a full burst. Thomas. Kicks long. Target Shell. Thomas. Good mark. Just judged it well. Coming back from injury, had a stress fracture of the foot earlier in the year. It's a lovely mark. Dishes off. Neil will go short and find Gallagher.
Gallagher looks up. Highly skilled on both sides. Opts to go with the left foot. Drops it short of his target in Massey. Was good enough to take the ball. Had to surrender it in the tackle. Gowan's over the top to Kellett. Wandering into goal from 40 metres. And awful spray out to the right. Out on the full.
That was a very disappointing effort. We've seen that quite a bit in the first half with no pressure. Kicking the ball out of bounds on the full, and wouldn't be too happy with that one. That would have been a bit of a setup to get you right back in the game.
Clements, long ball out. Nicholas almost was able to take it. Gowans didn't handball that, but the umpire said it was okay. Slade missed the mark as well. Now back inside 50 from Thomas. The kick was pretty good. Bello protected, but the punch came from the Norwood defence. What are they like on the ground? Centrals. Here's Kellett. Handed it virtually to Hopwood. It ran into a brick wall. You wouldn't see better in a game of rugby league.
Have they paid holding the ball today? I haven't seen one paid as yet, holding the ball, but that one for mine probably was, because he actually had a prior opportunity to give off and he tried to break 2 tackles.
All down inside forward 50 for Centrals. Neil, a little too severe with the hand pass. Slade gets an opportunity. Goes back to Coulter off his natural foot. Left leg turns and around. He is a very, very big kick of the ball. And he has his second of the quarter.
You're right, you called it correctly, Neil Cross. That is a powerful leg, isn't it? He really ripped into that. Handball came out, missed its target. Slade's been busy around it. Give it off. Just really gets the ball and almost places it down as low as he can onto the boot. It's a good kicking style. Just watch there, see how low it goes. And he thumps it. Great kick.
Josh Coulter didn't touch the ball in the first half, but this quarter he's had 4 kicks for 2 goals already.
Dragged a couple of times too, Moggy. But he's kicked a couple of goals, the 9 and 13 minute mark of this term. He'd like to call it rotated. I think that's what he might have been saying to Gary McIntosh. In fact, Roy Laird.
You'd never admit you got dragged, would you? These days you can always say I was rotated.
Free kick in the centre of the ground to Chris Gowans for the Bulldogs, who are on a bit of a burst at the moment. uses Guerra. Guerra's long kick. Now Cowan's going to fly. Thomas did well. Knocked it away. The crumbs. Bello. Handball. They're dangerous, the doggies. They are right on song at the moment. Clements is just locked up by James Gowans. Will have a bounce.
Look dangerous when they move it quickly, don't they?
Yeah, sorry, Michael, a change being made. Roy Laird has brought on Ed Sandsbury, taken off Daniel Shell, which has created a bit of a mismatch in height against Matthew Thomas in the forward line for the Bulldogs.
An edge in pace too, young Sandsbury. By bounces taken out of there by Gallagher. Gee, you've got to get rid of it quick. Sandsbury, there he is. Gives off to Healy. Healy loads it up and misses. The right-hand side. They are dangerous. Scores a level.
Yeah, Healy just had somebody run across his leg, which just the last minute Carslake squeezing him made him hook that ball around. In the end, he's a very good kick. Would have liked to have seen him nail that and give him some real momentum, Centrals. Good move too to bring Sandsbury on like that. I was only thinking maybe to open that forward line up, play somebody one off in the forward zone on his own, and maybe Sandsbury's that man. He's done it before at Elizabeth, I reckon.
Norwood had 4 goals, 5 on the board. Great mark by Schooler. Norwood had 4-5 on the board before Central scored a goal. And that was at the 8-minute mark. Here's Slade from just inside the 50 as a stray as well while they're spraying them. It took the Bulldogs, I'll get to my point now. First goal was at the 8-minute mark of the second term. By that stage, Norwood already had 4 on the board. Since then, things have tightened up.
It's a dangerous 5-minute period for Norwood because Centrals are really attacking. This is the most momentum they've had in the game.
They've gone off the ball, that's for sure, Tim. Tyson has got James over the top, also Neil. Neil will give it to James, who's run forward, does the donut, tries to get back over the top to Neil. Good running by Robbie Neil, just touches the ball on the ground. He'll load up a long left footer. Good kick by Neil, kicks to the hot spot. They fly early, maybe a free kick will go to the Bulldogs. McEntee took the mark, and I think Patfull, or was it Nicholas, went a little bit early on Brooks. And a free kick to the young man.
Yeah, called it right. Gone early and dragged him down.
In time the leap. Guerra from half-back. Gowans, Chris Gowans. A lot of attention from Yerbury. Takes the mark, dishes off. This is the way the doggies go. They move it quickly. Steinburner, one of the quickest men in the business. Steinburner runs his full measure and kicks long. Looking for Cowan. He's got to go to the thump. The rebound. Gallagher, short. Yerbury, no. Ball Ace takes the mark. And Yerbury just knocked out of it. Ball Ace has got Carslake and Thomas, who's gone forward. So for the Redlegs, he'll get it now. Thomas takes the mark, couple of kicks out from goal, looks forward, doesn't have much to kick to. McEntee gives him something, he goes to him, poor kick, mopped up by Guerra.
Guerra's got Healy on this side of the ground, that's the direction he goes. Healy in turn has Gowans down on centre wing. He really doesn't have many options longer than that, so in the end he belts it long. Coulter doubling back, does very well amidst 3 of the Redlegs. Coulter, Chris Gowans inside, as was Hopwood, taken down. Hopwood's gone, surely. Turn the ball over anyway. Knights, short. Bratton, back the other way. Inboard, he's got a couple. Goes short to Ball Ace. Dealt with by Coulter. After he kicked it was Bratton. Ball Ace squares it. Dangerous from behind. Slag went to ground. Norwood still with the numbers. Here comes James. Hand pass over the top. Opportunity coming up for Bound. Bound from 35 metres. Puts the Redlegs back in front.
Well, that's a great goal. That really is what they needed because that's, I reckon, the 3rd for Bound and just a very important one when Central's had so much momentum, as we said, to get the settling goal as they just did then. It was so vital because I think Centrals were in danger of running away with this contest.
Stewie Bound had 7 kicks in the first quarter, but that's his first one since then.
Accurate kicking by Stewie Bound, 2 goals apiece in this 3rd term. And there's Tim Nicholas, off for arrest, Sodas.
I think that indiscretion earlier where he gave away the free kick when McEntee took the mark, we'll see him sit on the bench. Joel Patfull back to full forward.
Back in the middle. Norwood get a very handy goal when Centrals are on a very, very fast break. Thomas finds the line on the outer side. 18.5 minutes gone, just 5 points of the difference in favour of the Legs.
That's what I wanted, is a nice close contest, a real good hard game here, and that's what we're getting. Hello, how are you today?
Joined the football. Bello shares it with Gowans. Scoots away, has a bounce. Long kick, Daniels will fly from the front, across the top. Massey knocked it down. Well done to Clements to Neal. Neal wants the boundary line. Which way will it bounce? Finds it. Good experience play by Robbie Neal, and there's a stoush on at half forward. Again, the boys have been pretty close today and really getting into one another's faces and asking close questions.
James Gowans took the ball out of the ruck. Umpire said he was held. I thought he took the ball out of the ruck. I thought he didn't dispose of it. I thought that's holding the ball. Wow.
Well, yep, you're right. Fair call. Neil Cross, that is correct. The rules, I believe, are that now. You take it out of the ruck contest, you must dispose of it immediately or be pinned.
Meanwhile, Chris Gowans, as you see, blood coming out of a cut there. He's going off the ground, was involved in a stoush there inside the forward 50 with a couple of Norwood players. He's involved in a stoush just on half-time, which was quite interesting as well.
You reckon they've gone through a game without one?
Without a stoush or without a blood rule?
Without a stoush. I don't know that I've ever seen it.
I reckon they haven't gone through a game without both, actually. A stoush and a blood rule. Let's force one or the other off the ground. So Chris goes off. James will take the free kick on the far side of the ground, which, as I expressed, some surprise at. Kicks inside 50. Sainsbury, brave, went back and took the mark. Tight angle.
Very tight angle, isn't it? Not beyond him, though. He's a talent.
So, I have high hopes for him out at Elizabeth. One of the young players who has come into the lineup this year. Eddie Sainsbury. Awkward kick off the boot. In fact, terrible kick off the boot. Out of bounds in the forward pocket on the other side of the ground. Sodas.
Yeah, Matthew Bartamucci did aggravate a former injury that he did have to his ankle. He has had it re-strapped, and there's a good chance we'll see him return back to the fold.
Thanks for that. We just have a quick look. Caught under there. He's probably lucky it was his ankle and not something more severe. No doubt his knee was under a lot of strain in that situation.
Redlegs out of trouble through Neal. Now that kick was just to a nest of doggies. Healy shorts it up, finds James Gowans right on 50. The lead's coming from everywhere. Plenty of options for Gowans. He might just kick it long into the pocket. Good lead by Kellett. Good kick. Just waited and waited for something to open up, and Kellett gave it to him.
Our and selfish with the football, and they do make sure that the correct person gets it on a better angle. And Kellett, I don't know how he got so loose when it was so tight in there, but obviously nobody saw his new hairdo and recognised him.
He's kicked 2 goals straight this year, David Kellett. Kicked one out of bounds on the full earlier in the quarter and hooks this badly. He's kicking just a little bit off at the moment.
Yeah, it's got to be confidence, because he's a good executor of the football, and that occasion, I reckon it was just pure confidence. He's just lost a bit in front of the goal at the moment.
Margin 5 points. 4 points. Try again. Ball back into play from Daniels. Long down this grandstand flank, looking for Knights. From behind came Yerbury, took a strong mark. Quickly off to James, quickly off to Borlace. Borlace then, long and high. Down towards centre half forward. Thomas has the ball knocked away from him. Well done by Norwood. Bratton in a bit of space. Bratton down the line. It's pretty good delivery, but at the end of the day, Hay was too quick. Came from a yard back to knock the ball away out of bounds. Well done.
That's a great effort to get a hand in there, isn't it?
Ball back in. Nice tap to the back. Thomas for Centrals down towards the centre. Massey. Back to Neal, who's performed the role of Scotty Doreen back there this afternoon.
Busiest player on the ground, 23 possessions.
He's done very well. Doreen, of course, missing, having damaged his shoulder, out for the season. Here's Clements. Off to Massey, takes his time, finds a target, not. Target was red, white and blue, and it was Cowan, and Cowan comes away, drops it short to Slade, inside 50. Slade goes with the kick, searching, finds Sainsbury. Sainsbury plays on, tries to make it, no doubt, and does make it, no doubt. Preferring the run-on play to the set shot, obviously, and the easiest of goals for Centrals.
Well, that was just a little bit too easy, wasn't it? Slade's become a pretty busy player, and he's created another opportunity for Centrals here, and Sainsbury took that mark and nobody wanted to hold him up, and he just shot through the defence with ease and just kicked an easy goal. I mean, when he has a set shot, at least you've got some sort of chance of him missing, and there's no way he was going to miss that after he played on.
Inside 50 since quarter time. Norwood 11, Central's 33.
Goal number 13 to Ed Sainsbury for the year. Come at an important time for the Bulldogs. Out of the centre, Carslake tries to burst through. Gallagher's there. He's gone out of the game, James Gallagher, a little bit. The third change of lead for this quarter. So, been going hammer and tongs in this third term.
Gallagher still had 17 possessions today, Michael, 15 and 2.
He's been pretty good, but he's just gone out of the game a little bit. Swatala, Bello, got it to Gowans. This is James, kicks long. The big man Schooler's back there, thumped away by Daniels. He does that well. Running onto the spillage is James. Lost control of the football. In goes Dawes, as he normally does. Crashes to the ground. Gallagher's there. Kellett used the body well. Got to the feet, couldn't go any further. Karslak has him. We'll have a ball up.
They've become a lot more urgent this term, those Centrals, haven't they? They look very hungry for the football. They want to try and break this deadlock and get away from Norwood and kick on.
Kick 3-5 for the quarter so far, Centrals. Get another bounce down inside defensive 50 for Norwood. Clements taken to ground. 3-5, and Norwood has added just 2-2 for the term. Down, and Schooler just edges his way to the front, bats it down. Slade did brilliantly. Kellett in a bit of space, run down but got the kick away, and just that pressure that came at the last minute forced it out on the full. Well done. Didn't catch you with it. Was late. Might have been Blake coming in very quickly at the end. Sorry, Tyson it was coming in there at the end.
Yeah, good pressure too. Needed that because it would have been an easy shot at goal, but Slade again getting his hands on the football, creating opportunities at goal.
Massey switches to Knights. The handy player, Ben Knights. Long, looking for Daniels. Worked in front of Coulter. Coulter was clever. Knocked it to the back to Thomas. But Thomas will kick it straight to Massey. Massey sets himself and took the mark. Advantage rule can't be paid on a mark, so it must have been a free kick. Taken by Dawes. Dawes, long kick to the wing. Thomas at the front. Sticky fingers, took the mark. Held on for just long enough in front of Harada. The legs.
Had to pay that, Michael.
Mark to Thomas, looking to pinch one the legs just before three-quarter time. Good kick, spots up Bound. He's got Gallagher running for him to one side. Haythorpe gives him something. Bound, that's an awkward wobbly kick. McEntee can't take the mark. Guerra, kick smothered by McEntee, good second effort. Steinburner, loose handball out of there. Hay just taps for the line. Ball aces there, goes to ground. Well played, Swatala locks him up. Harada knocked it down, picked up by Ball Ace, scrubby old kick. It's desperate stakes down there. Steinburner goes in hard, so too Thomas. Ball fished out the back. Swatala wants the line, gets the line. Umpire says throw it in, not deliberate.
No, we haven't seen a hold in the ball or a deliberate, have we? So at least they're consistent, and that's the main thing. I don't mind that, because if they want to pay that all day long, well, fair enough. But if they pull one out of the hat in the last quarter, I'll jump off my seat.
I will expect to see that then, Tim. Here comes Bello defensively. He looked for the line too, I think. Now Bound, back inside 50 it goes. Brooks favoured by the kick, should take the mark, doesn't. And the snap off the pack is just astray. And at three-quarter time, that minor score from Russell Haythorpe brings the margin back to 1 point at three-quarter time here. Norwood 7-9-51, trailed by that 1 point. Central District 7-10-52.
Good tough third quarter, really enjoyed it, and I thought both teams had their little ascendancies in that term, and it looked like Central's going to really break free at one stage, and Norwood got the ball down the other end and Bound finished off with a goal. But a great third term, and I reckon really set up for what will be a very, very close finish. Let's have a look at the quarter-by-quarter scores. Norwood got off to a great start, 3-4 to 2 points, and then at half-time there was only 7 points in it in favour of Norwood, and now they're just a point behind the Dogs, who did get a little bit of a wiggle on in that term. Goal scorers for Norwood, 3 to Bound, singles to Ball Ace, Butamucci, Pat Full and Newbury, and for Central Districts, a couple to Coulter, one Beauty, and singles to Bello, Cowan, James Gowan, Sainsbury and Guerra.
Look over the stats and we see there, gee, they've evened up a bit inside the 50s, and in fact Central's taken over because Norwood dominated early, didn't they? I think it was something like 9-1
Yeah, and their possessions have picked up too. Central's getting their hands a lot more on the football and really had some good attacks in that quarter.
Yes, well, new vice president for the SANFL announced during the week, and that was John Halbert, the former Sturt player and Glenelg coach and Sturt coach. He's done a little bit of everything, John Halbert, and I spoke to him just about the future.
And Dunn doesn't know where to go. Pick it up a big can, he does. Drives Sturt into it, the ground to Halbert. Halbert into attack today. It's the double blues all the way.
The enthusiasm around the club in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
We will be trying.
John, you've gone from playing to coaching, now administration, and now the vice president of the SANFL. What are your aims taking over from Rod Pays and missing a guy like Max Bashir now?
We don't intend to take over from Rod Pays. Let's make that perfectly clear from the start. But I don't see us making many drastic changes. There'll be further developments. Next year we'll have individual seating at the stadium, and that'll be a big plus. And there'll probably be some other minor projects along the way.
Can you see a time when you're going to have to consider things like finals away from Football Park, and we will see a drop-off in crowds? Can you see that happening in your term?
I think we've already seen a serious drop-off in crowds. That happened immediately. The Crows went into the AFL, and of course was accentuated when Port went in too. But they're holding fairly steady now, and we would hope that we can maintain that and really promote our SANFL football as family football. You know, bring the family along, bring your deck chairs, go into the family-friendly area. And I think if we do that, we'll be really aiming at a different market to what the AFL aim at.
And the other respect, the idea of maybe all the finals being away from Footy Park?
I think the idea of taking it away from either Football Park or Adelaide Oval is unlikely, to be quite honest, because I think that some grounds can cope, other grounds could not cope, and so you wouldn't get that home ground advantage that the AFL are striving for. I think we'll find that we'll use Adelaide Oval perhaps a little more and only restrict some of the very major finals to Footy Park, but I don't see it moving outside that at the present time.
Well, one last thing. How long will you be in the Vice President's role, and how long before you think that those sort of changes might be necessary?
Oh, I don't think I'm going to be there for any long length of time. I think I'm getting too old to stay there, and I certainly don't see myself as following on from Rod as the president of the league. I think there'll be other young men who'll come into the commission who will serve time there and will be ready in a few years' time when I bow out, and perhaps a number of others on the commission bow out. There'll be some young men ready to take over then in leadership roles.
John Halbert holding up the big trophy. He's waited a long time for that.
John Halbert, a great leader there. We see the Sturt Football Club winning the 1966 Premiership under the captaincy of John Halbert, and almost ruling out what we heard from the General Manager of Norwood earlier in the day, David Walk, the idea of playing finals at suburban grounds. So.
Yeah, I like the idea of finals here at Adelaide Oval, though. That I think will fit well with most clubs.
Okay, just those scores from other grounds. The Eagles leading Glenelg by 56 points at three-quarter time, and South Adelaide over West Adelaide by 39 points at three-quarter time. Very interesting upset, that one. So
fantastic.
And here, and I guess an upset in the making. Central's just up by a point, but of course they did trail by 20 and at quarter time, and then by 7 at half time. Sodas, what have you been listening intently to down on the ground?
Well, Neil, it was a fiercely contested third term, and in Roy Laird's words, it was absolutely sensational. For this final term, Central Districts will be kicking with the breeze. Chris Gowans has had his face stitched up, so he's going to return, and Damien Arnold's been thrown into the ruck.
Thanks for that, Sodas. Any other changes that you can see though for Norwood? What would you do there? Bartamucci going to play?
Well, Bartamucci, his ankle has been taped up, so he is ready to return, and he was running up and down the boundary line, so he should be okay to return. But with the breeze, it has died down a little bit after half-time, but it will be an advantage, probably worth a goal or two. So Norwood are really going to have a bit of trouble here trying to stay in the finals race.
Thanks for that, Sodas. Yes, work cut out. Gary McIntosh likes his work cut out for him. to 2,740 patrons. We'll be hoping they'll see a close one, a close finish, I would have thought.
I think it'll be a real close finish, and it just seems like both sides, it's been hard to get 2 goals in a row, hard to string them together, so it's been a really tough contest, and I don't see the last quarter being any different, and probably early goals might be the difference between who wins and who loses.
Daryl Hicks is down with Mark Soderstrom.
Daryl, against the breeze there, great term for you.
Terrific. The second and the third quarters have been very good, but to Norwood's credit, they're hard at it.
And you've
had man-on-man stuff.
Yeah, you've had a bit of a shuffle with your forward line, but it looks like Coulter and Sainsbury that quarter really set things up.
Well, we created space. We did a bit of the pagan paddock, went the ball over the top, and it worked quite well for us. And Roy was keen at three-quarter time to continue with it.
All right, good luck, Daryl.
Thanks.
And let's see what pans out and whether we see more of the Pagans paddock on the Adelaide Oval in the last quarter. Here's Michael Main.
The Adelaide Oval, far from a paddock. Neil, magnificent surface, and Norwood. Well, who would have thought at three-quarter time they would be in this position?
Michael,
Central lead by a point.
Michael, Les Burdett would be very, very unhappy with that reference to the ground as a paddock, wouldn't he?
Oh, you'd think so. Underway in the final term, SANFL round 20, and Healy can't get through Ball-Ace, who's been rough, tough today. A ball winner, Scott Ball-Ace, back to his best, I would say. He's struggled at different times during the year. He's had injuries.
Second highest possession for Norwood. It's Ball-Ace with 20, behind Robbie Neal 23, 17 to Gallagher and James. For the Doggies, 21 to Brent Guerra, and Marco Bello 19 to Daniel Healy.
Thanks, Ian Mogridge. James Tyson just wrapped up in the centre of the Adelaide Oval. The ball just inching its way forward. Norwood trailed by that 1 point. Knocked away by Chris Gowans. Damien Arnold has had limited game time. Schooler has done most of the rucking. Taken by Bello. Bello jammed it on the boot to half forward. Daniels knocked it away from Cowan. Loose ball. Cowan tries to burst through. Can't. They dive on the footy at the back. Sainsbury is clever. In comes James Gowans. Somehow worked it out to Callan, who dribbles it through for a behind. Must have just hit the post on the way through.
Another dust up.
Another blue. Maybe no score. Just wait and see. Goal umpire goes back.
See, buddy.
And it's hit the post. So good decision. Scoring.
Goal umpire Cam giving us a very good view of that, my friend.
Ball back into play. Over on the far side, Centrals pretty much have the numbers, it looked like, but James, lovely little hand pass to Bratton. He just goes down the wing, hoping for a mark. Gallagher, opposed to Hay, couldn't bring it down. Gowan's on the ground, trapped. Wait on the umpire. Chris Gowan's in trouble. Has to give it up. Free kick.
He didn't want to, did he? He just sat on it. He was just content with the decision. It was going to be holding the ball. He didn't care, I don't think.
Michael Bratton's been impressive. It's our first look at him on ABC TV Sport. Ball down long. Wasn't the greatest of kicks. Thomas gave Arnold a shove, and Arnold will actually get the free kick, even though Steinburner looks and says, but I took the mark.
You're disappointed when you're that height, you take marks. You don't want to take it off you.
It counted as contested mark too. Well, that wasn't the greatest of kicks from Arnold, but it works out for them. There's Thomas. Very quick, very highly skilled. Sets it up. Brooks will come from behind. Good mark.
Yeah, good poise, wasn't it? It was always his.
Knew he had position. The kick was perfect for him. Hopwood already picked up a hand pass in that last play. Now he drives it down towards half forward. Nicholas couldn't take it. Daniels did. He was taken down rather quickly by Slade.
Yeah, good tackle.
Get a bounce down.
Really lifted his work rate, Slade, around the footy in that third term, and there's much to do with him. I think that they scored those goals. His hand was just about in all of them.
Cowan wrestles with Nicholas. Quick hands by Chris to James Gowans. Just pushed off the kick by Dawes. Dribbling ball. Sainsbury, he's clever. He's a goal kicker. He's got two. What a player to come off the bench and make an impact, and Ed Sainsbury has done just that today.
He does, doesn't he? And he's the sort of bloke, like I said, you can play one out in the square because he's just, look at the way he was out of that contest. He was behind Massey, a well-known AFL footballer, and he just sort of turned him around, got hold of the footy and dribbled it through him. And just great goal sense, and just turns on a two-bob bit.
Central District this season, 14 times they've been in front at three-quarter time for 13 wins and 1 loss. And with that goal, they just crept the margin out to 8 points, although Nicholas, coming free for Centrals, didn't give the ball away as much as was dispossessed. Guerra down looking for Kellett for Centrals, and Clements came, just took the ball out of bounds on that far side of the ground.
In close, I've noticed 2 in the last 2.5 quarters. Central's hands have been a lot cleaner and a lot better. And they've thrown it around pretty quickly and accurately.
Just joined us quarter time. 20 points the margin in favour of Norwood. Started really, really well. Restricted Centrals to just 2 points in the first quarter. Since then, Centrals have come back well. Sainsbury almost able to take that to ground. Kellett was taken to ground. Umpire call play on. Good tackle by Massey. Still it goes on. Still it's tough and rough out there. Bratton, kick smothered, out of bounds. One of the Gowans boys got across the foot of Bratton as he tried to kick it away.
Yeah, good pressure. I think it was James this time. Great smother. I reckon it's about the 5th smother we've seen today. I think real good 1%ers, both sides.
Remind you of Scotty Bamford, Bratton.
Yeah, not as quick. I mean, Scotty Bamford can carry the mail a bit, can't he?
Now, a free kick will go here to Nicholas at half-back for the Redlegs. Has Massey on the switch, decides to go down the line. Thomas will fly from behind, can't haul it in, did well on the ground. To Ball Ace, quick hands over the top. Hay just working into some spaces. Herrera's got Chris Gowan, so the Gowans boys have really stepped it up in the last quarter. Long kick, hoping for a mark. Cowan in the middle, can't take the mark. Spillage, Neal, can't get it clear. Locked up again. They all hail for the cab. Bounce.
Central seem to be running on top of the turf, and Norwood just seem to be running a little bit heavier.
Still, it's been a good effort by Norwood to date, seeing they were pumped by 90 points when they last met in round 11 by the Doggies. No one going anywhere there. It's Matty Slade, who really did have a good third quarter. Got his hands on the football.
Got his hands on the ball 7 times in the third quarter after just having 1 kick in the first half.
Thanks, Moggy. Bello. We'll have another bounce here, I think. I don't know who this favours. Anyway, the umpires will get a bit of practice in. There's a fan. Nice hat.
Just on the edge of the 50 for Centrals. Gowan just thumps it inside 50. Neal intercepted for Norwood. Tried to go wide. He would have liked it to go on wider because Steinberner intercepts it 20 metres from the line. Comes around, drives it in long off the right foot. Nicholas should take it or perhaps punch it. Punches it over the line for a rush behind. Robbie Neal looked around and said, gee, we could have taken it away without conceding. Margin now 9 points, 7 minutes into this final term at the Adelaide Oval. Pretty low scoring game.
Has been, and there's been a lot of pressure on it as well. But good one-on-one stuff.
Clements goes to the outer side. Steinberner takes the mark, immediately on with play to Slade. Slade's got a man in short in Thomas, who's just on 50. And from there, Paul Thomas might get the journey. It'll take a good kick. And he doesn't mind giving a long roost, Paul Thomas. Made most of this year across half-back.
11 and 3 today.
And a busy day, Paul Thomas from right on the 50. Long kick. Just pushed it away to the left. Mark was taken by Daniels inside the line. Goes short and finds Bratton at half-back, who's been busy.
Still anybody's game. Norwood can give it the next goal. That'll keep it alive.
I think that's the key to it. They need the next goal. They don't want to concede one. Knight's out of half-back. Too long for Massey. Foot race. Well done, Healy. Used a bit of body. Got around. Ducked inboard with a handball to Hay, who's a thumping kick. Hay. Good kick. Kellett might take this.
10 around.
He's got Bello in the square.
See, that's a real cardinal sin. Take a mark, turn your back on play and walk away. You don't know what's behind you. You don't know what's happened.
I think he wants to prove to himself that he can actually kick straight. Kellett, his kicking has been just a bit off today. He'll kick from around 40 metres directly in front. Had the tips in the hair. Long kick by Kellett. Knows how to kick a goal, that's for sure. Gets his first. and just what the legs didn't need, a goal to the Dogs.
Well, after missing a couple, Michael, I think you're right. He took that mark and he wanted to make sure that he could get the goal that was going to really probably put it beyond Norwood's grasp. In the end, I think it was the one-on performance by their captain, Healy, with Massey, that won the football and turned it around to set this goal up. And it's been a hard day's work for them, but I think they're going to get over the line if they can persist this quarter through.
Tim, a tough day for Chris Massey. He's back on the bench, and Matthew Bartamucci looks to have recovered from the ankle injury, and he's gone into the defence for Norwood.
Out of the middle and long by Gallagher. Central's working it towards the line. Hay got it over the line.
I'm surprised they've had to, use Thomas up forward. I know that there was a bit of a mismatch there, but it was a bit unfortunate. Let's have a look at this. That was the Paul Thomas kick, and I reckon that mark so close to being over the line. I don't know.
Well, meanwhile, in that ruck contest, a free kick off the ball at Norwood. They'll get an opportunity to go inside 50 through Yerbury. Yerbury, not the safest of kicks, drives it in long. McEntee in the middle of the pack, 2 grabs, no. Patfull couldn't get his kick away effectively either, and James Gowans gets taken across the line in front of the scoreboard, which reads a 15-point lead for Centrals. We've travelled through 10 minutes in this last quarter. Ball back into play. Arnold just tapped it to Herrera, tried to get away, still can't get away. Umpire says I'll bounce it. So Norwood led until the 15-minute mark of the 3rd quarter in this match. There's Massey sitting on the ground. Looking like Jonathan Robran won't come back on the ground either in ruck for Norwood, sitting there with a tracksuit on. And Centrals work the ball from defence. Arnold, good vision, knew he was in trouble, awareness, got it to Brooks, did well after popping the ball on his head to get it down towards half forward. Now there's a contest on, we're back in the centre square, umpire will come in and bounce it.
Just there, it was a good example coming out of defence, how Centrals have thrown that football around a lot more and a little bit cleaner with their handball work than what Norwood have been today.
Time ticking away for the Legs. They need the next goal in a hurry. Carslake slung off. Gallagher has got a couple of important touches. Hopwood misjudged it. Thomas got it to Bound, who's kicked free. Long kick by Bound. Will they shepherd it through? Patfull gets back. Thumped away by Off-to-Hyde. Been good on Patfull this afternoon.
I think in the end he's definitely won the battle, and Patfull looked dangerous early, but Off-to-Hyde, like good defender, just kept persisting, and he's had the better of the duel.
A double change for Central District. Shell back to full forward. Luke Cowan off. Schuller replacing Arnold in the ruck.
Steinburner gave the ball away from the mark and then brought it back to himself through handball, and now down to half forward and working it towards the line. Norwood able to get it out of bounds. Haythorpe, that man there, doing well in defence, scores from underground. South Adelaide by 46 points over Westies. So Westies a bit up and down at the moment. Gary McIntosh, the Norwood coach there, he's got a problem with his side being a little bit down at the moment, down by 14 points. The Eagles by 61 points over Glenelg at the moment. Here's Thomas inside 50 with the kick. Shell with an opportunity. Can he gather? No, he can't. James Gowans gathers. Clever? No. Just lost control out of bounds.
Incidentally, Neil, if South win today, that'll be their first ever win over West at Noarlunga.
Wow. There's a stat for you. Typical of Ian Mogridge to brought that one out. Brought that out. Yeah, brilliant.
The deep south of Adelaide, down at Noarlunga. Beautiful day in Adelaide. Beautiful day here at the Adelaide Oval. Kellett almost through. Hand pass out. And in the end, we'll get another bounce.
Works hard, Carslake, doesn't he? Just all the time. He always give you a good effort around the packs.
66 plays, 52 in favour of Central District. Well done, Haythorpe. Long high kick, Schooler at the back, Herrera knocked it down. Where are the Crummers? Bratton. Interesting handball. Got it away to Gallagher. Gallagher to Patfull, working up the ground. Clements wants to duck back inboard. Honours the lead of McEntee. Good mark. Good pack mark by Ben McEntee. What's he got in front of him? Thomas has gone deep into attack. That's a terrible kick by McEntee, chopped off by Herrera. You don't do that to a class side like Central's. Schooler on the end of a chain of handballs. Over the top, Sainsbury. God, look at him scoot away. Handball, not a good one, chopped off by Gallagher. They get another chance to legs. The kick forward by Bound at the back, thumped away by Off to Hyde. He'll rove his own ball, kicked it off the ground, couldn't bend. Will he go now? Goes to his knees. Coulter just drilled the handball. Knights, not pushed in the back, went to ground too easy. Crowd calls ball, pack of players, ball up.
I reckon Centrals can thank Off to Hyde for stopping that one. That was absolutely brilliant. Just dives in on top of him here, holds the ball in the area, but that was a great effort to spoil 3 deep and stop that momentum that Norwood looked like having going in the forward 50.
Off to Hyde did exceptionally well there because he'd left his man to do it, which left Norwood with 1 and possibly 2 free men inside that forward 50. Forget if you want to buy a copy of any of our ABC SANFL Match of the Days, call up on 0883434601 during office hours. This one a very close contest, 14 points Centrals halfway through the last quarter. And to think that they were down by 20 and had not scored a goal at quarter time. A very, very good side, especially when Nathan Steinberner can get rested halfway through the last quarter. Yerbury in trouble, shoveled out a hand pass. Here's the hard-working Karslake down towards half forward. Hay roved it well, was on his right leg, so gave up the ball to Hopwood. Down long, high. Punch came from behind from the Norwood defence. Karslake again. Now he's got a free ball and an opportunity to bullet a pass. Missed everybody. McEntee stopped and then was favoured by the bounce. Taken to ground without the ball. Hereda, the offender, hangs his head.
He knew he made a mistake. Just held on to that tackle way too long and dragged him down.
Lost side of the footy, didn't he?
Yes.
It's the problem. You put the head into the hip to make the tackle. Sometimes if you make the tackle properly, you've knocked the ball free and you continue on the tackle without knowing where the ball's gone. So McEntee can benefit from all that by kicking a goal. Has yet to score this afternoon. And that time made no mistake at all. Taken a couple of useful marks, but that's the first time he's been productive in terms of goal scoring.
Norwood really haven't kept their forward options open or delivered it probably particularly well in there because they've had some good targets, and McEntee and Patfull and these sort of guys roaming in and out of there, but few opportunities and you've got to take them when they come up. Central's defence, I think, have won the battle on the day.
8 points the difference, still time for the legs. There's Roy Laird. Does he ever show any emotion, Roy Laird?
Very calm as a coach, isn't he? Which is a good trait, I think.
Keeps it all in perspective. Long thump forward for the Redlegs. Ball ace had Hopwood. The spillage, Patfull, about to be shut down by Bello. Got it to Karslake, who's been good. His tackle too high. Swatala on Karslake. So lucky break there for the legs. Karslake goes on with play to Yerbury v Schooler. Yerbury just about took that mark. Quick hands. Bartamucci got it to Bound. He's kicked free. Loads it up long. Stewie are behind. Back to 7 points. The legs have grown a leg.
Plenty of time too. I mean, that goal really has lifted them. They know that they're a chance. You get another centre break and you're away inside your 50 again. So look, anything can happen. And one thing they have done today is just persist and kept out at Norwood. So bit of a credit to them.
Possessions today, Norwood 267, Central's 268.
Guerra, superb kick of the ball. Arriving late, Yerbury got it away from Chris Gowans. Umpire paid a free kick though. Gee, that ball was sitting there, just you'd be sitting under that wondering, is it going to arrive in time? Gowans' kick wasn't the best. Tyson intercepted it. Now Yerbury, is he going to? Yes, he is. Carry it across the line. And we'll get a throw in.
That's a good result for Norwood. They can reset. He can get his hand to it if he moves back quick enough and get it down to one of his players, and they're away again.
That's a bit tired, Yerbury. He made it though. Bound ended up tapping it over the back. Dawes quickly inside 50. The Brooks intercepted for Centrals. They'll load up now. Go to the far side. Running is Hopwood. Clements tries to shut him down but can't. Sainsbury's on over the top. Uses the left foot. If this stays in, Sainsbury's got a bit of space to work with. He does have a bit of space to work with. Inside is Slade. Slade now breaking inside the forward 50. He's got a couple of targets. He'll go long for Shell. Shell will fly, but he's got a lot of opponents there. Haythorpe, one of them. Shell complaining he was held, but Norwood come away from defence.
Would have made a bit better of that. Knights goes short to Dawes at half back for the legs. Still plenty of time for the Redlegs. 7 points the difference. Dawes just holds it up at half-back, waits for something to open up. Carslake, we'll get his stats in a minute, Moggy. Goes to Yerbury. Yerbury kicks long, had Bartamucci short. Thomas just provided the contest. Well rode by Bartamucci as Bound runs to the goal square. Can they get it to him? They can't. Hereda dives on the footy, locks it up at half-back. Umpire Tony Day says, give it to me.
Tell you what, they're on the roll though, aren't they? They really are pushing that ball forward, Norwood, and creating options. If only Bartamucci could have squeezed that kick out, Bound was there, going to run onto an open goal.
Scott Carslake 11 and 9 today, Michael.
Thanks, Moggy. It's not a bad day. Hay to James Gowans, whose intention was pretty much to go to the boundary line. Swatala there, Bratton also boundary throw in.
Important ball for Swatala to win then. Get over the boundary line. It's nice and tight and tough now. 7 points in it, not a lot of time.
Just approaching the 20-minute mark of the final term. Skua leans on his opponent and then palms it down. Norwood again beaten in the clinches in there tight from the set play. Neil went back bravely, got a hand to the ball. That's allowed Knights to take it. Knights' kick was penetrating and long, too long for Carslake in the end. Coming out and taking it, Bartamucci had the handball. Ball ace taken to ground. On the ground, he fights hard for it. Nobody can get a clean possession. We'll get a bounce just inside the forward 50.
Just hit 20-minute mark, so we're into time on now. Central's, Norwood, they can get a goal in this next minute because there won't be a lot of time on. Only 3 goals scored in this last term.
Carslake, I think it was in there, got possession. Ball still won't come clean. Finally, Chris Gowans works it out, just content to belt it long towards the wing. Slade with the opportunity, hand pass towards the boundary line. Knights, if he takes it on his left leg, tries to get around, hand pass looking for Neil. Neil on the ground, opposed to Chris Gowans, will get a bounce down. Centre wing on the far side of the Adelaide Oval, and it's tightening up. 7 points the margin.
It won't hurt Centrals just to have a real tight contest just before finals.
Neil, you've got to get rid of it, and it went to the boundary line, so the umpire's not invoking the penalty there. Boundary throw in. 7 points the difference in favour of the ladder leaders, Central District. Schooler thought he got it down, didn't control it though. Roved his own ball, jammed it on the boot. Leading in the race is James, the skipper. Normally uses the football well. This time by hand. Long kick down the line. Healy's flying. Can't take the mark. Well done, McEntee. Roved his own ball well. Kicks it long. Thomas is the target. It'll bounce in front of him. Hay overran it. In goes Gallagher. Off to Hyde. Knocked it out of bounds deliberately. The umpire said yes.
There's that one I told you. Yeah, look, you know, there's been a couple today. That one was definitely blatant. It's there, but we've only had one paid today.
Short kick goes to Clements, and Clements will go back and look at a goal to bring them within 1 point.
And is that the first time today we've seen Norwood centre up the ball?
Yeah, well, you're right. They've really struggled to open up the angles to make them better today and find targets. But hey, late in this game, a few players like McEntee with a bit of fresh legs has really created some good run.
He's only kicked 4 goals this year, Troy Clements, but he plays across half-back and loves a goal. Leans back on it. Good kick. I think he might have faded it across to the left.
Well, go back straight to half-back, young man. That's where you belong with a kick like that. Just leaning back on it. That was a vital one for Norwood, and the one that would have really given them a chance of winning the game.
1 straight goal, the difference now. 1 straight kick. Centrals holding on. Just chipping it around. Guerra.
Heath Hopwood there with his 27th possession. Now the top kick getter on the, or top possession getter on the ground.
Premier half-back in this competition. Guerra's kick fell short of Coulter, who gave off to Hyde a real tough time with that hand pass. Now it's squared up. Schooler looks up long. Hereda's led for him. Hereda will probably get this. He will get this, in fact. Now he looks around. Not a lot on offer. Goes down the line, though. Looking for Sainsbury. Took the mark. Sainsbury looks up inside forward 50. Not a lot on offer there again. Healy, who's only about 150 metres away, is signalling kick it to me. Sainsbury up and long and high. A lot of Norwood players flying for the ball. Knights lopes after the ball. Gets back onto his left hand. Well done, Dawes. Now out of defence they come, but they kick it straight to Coulter, who's an enormous kick if he gets the ball. Well done at the front there and taken away by Karslake, I think it was, down towards half forward. They've got a mark. Bartamucci plays on, caught straight away holding the ball. Oh, and that may be the turning point of this last term. Just not aware that Guerra, one of the toughest tacklers in any league, was right on him.
Yeah, you've got to have that sixth sense of what's around you, don't you? And Guerra was upon him before he could blink.
And Central's content to hold the ball. Now they've made a mistake though. James turns it over. Inside 50, he has a target. Can he get it all the way there? No, he can't. Guerra intercepts. Well done. Guerra comes away up the right leg, just drives it long looking for Healy. Ball to ground. Another opportunity for Norwood. Karslake quickly out to Tyson. Puts their head down. Knows he's got to go long off the left boot. They need a mark. Can Bartamucci get it? No. Brooks in trouble. Taken to ground by Patfull. Umpire. Pressure on. Calls for the bounce.
Nearly gave him the full Nelson there, didn't he? Patfull and Hereda wasn't happy with it, but I tell you now, just a couple of times Norwood have competed against one another in the air. So many times when the balls come forward.
Some of the kicks haven't been too good. They've been helicopters. Ball ace kept it in. Thought he threw it. He did. Good decision, umpire.
He tried hard to keep it in, but in the end, that was illegal.
Healy just takes his time. We've ticked into 25 minutes. Time officially running out for the legs. Now, this is where you need to man up if you're a Norwood player. Long kick down the line by Healy. They fly. Ball out of bounds will help Centrals, but the mark's been paid to Cowan from the punch. He's got them in the centre, queuing up. Gowans. Mark Endor free kick to James Gowan. Siren. The Bulldogs have won. A brilliant game of football at the Adelaide Oval. And Centrals win it by one straight kick, Tim.
It was a great game, wasn't it? And full credit to both teams. I mean, Central's had to really work hard to get back into the game and then to get in front. And Norwood just kept persisting. They just weren't going to give in. And even late, they showed it looked like they were running through the ground, and they lifted again and nearly took the game away from Central. So great contest in the end. Only a goal in it, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And off the high there, got pinned for the one deliberate out of bounds for the day, and there was one holding the ball paid, but it was pretty good umpiring overall, I thought, and controlled what was a good contest and pretty fiery at times.
Yes, it was. It was a great contest in the end, and Chris Gowans, I think it's Chris Gowans, I haven't seen the back of him, is with Sodas.
Yeah, Neil, you're right. I can assure you it is Chris Gowans. Pretty tough game, mate. 6 points in the end.
Yeah, it was. Norwood, to their credit, come out and gave a good accounting of themselves, and they were playing for everything today. They still had a slight chance, but look, we always like beating Norwood like we beat Port, and hopefully we got Port next week, so we've got a big couple of games in a row, and we didn't really want to lose this one.
Now, a busy afternoon for you. Half-time, what actually happened there?
I have no idea. I'm good mates with Matty Thomas, and yeah, he was just throwing his weight around. I just thought I'd go over and give him a cuddle, and yeah, there's nothing much to it than that.
Looked like James was probably biting off a little more than he can chew, and he needed some help from his brother.
He's a big boy, Thomas, so yeah, weight for age, so obviously he needed a bit of help.
And I can let you know that West Adelaide have gone down to South, so that sets you up nicely as well.
Yeah, look, it's a very even comp this year, and look, we just want to get top two. We don't care if it's really first or second, as long as we have that double chance, and yeah, that's good news. Hopefully, yeah, we keep winning and they keep losing.
Well, thanks, mate. Go and celebrate the win.
Oh, yeah, I will. Thanks.
I think they always celebrate the win, don't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And a great effort. I mean, they really had to work today. It wasn't as if they were going to get a million touches against Norwood, who really played closely. So a good effort in the end, and I thought both the Gowans boys really did play a good part in the victory.
Yes, and Norwood had started so well too. They really looked like they were out in for a day. They had, what did they have on the board? They had 3 goals in the first quarter, and they finished with 8 for the match, so they obviously slowed down.
Yeah, 7 shots though, I think it was in that first term, and really would have liked a better return. I think 5-2 would have been nicer. And more scoreboard pressure.
And telling a few tales out of school, I did overhear Scotty Lee talking to the rest of the Central's coaching staff and saying, you know, maybe it was a heavy week on the track and we started slowly out of the blocks.
Yeah, it's probably taken a little bit out of the legs, but no harm in that.
Well, as we said, Norwood started well. Joel Patfull, lovely conversion this, but hardly sighted for most of the day.
Yeah, after that contest in that first term, off the hide like the rest of the Centrals team, really got on top.
As a look, McEntee
All right, mate.
did
See
some
what I
good
can
things
do.
during the day, and here's Coulter finishing the job for Centrals.
Yeah, he kicked that goal, but an even better one later on in the game, which was an absolute beauty. Thomas was pretty good in defence all day, I thought. Norwood's defence with Dawes as well, and Robbie Neal, they worked pretty hard.
Interesting moving Robbie Neal back into defence to cover the job that essentially Scotty Doreen did before he hurt his shoulder, and that is play in the back pocket, set up the play, run down the ground, be the general back there.
He did do it well, though, I thought, and had a good game. You know, Brett James here, involved in play, sets up so many. And I thought Slade, after a very quiet first half, he was the one that came alive in the third term and set up a lot of their goals.
Must ask Moggy, leading stat gatherers, Moggy, have you got those yet?
Yeah, I have, Neil. For Norwood, first of all, we had Scott Borlace with 23, Robbie Neal 26, Brett James 20, James Gallagher and Scott Carslake each 21. For the Doggies, Marco Bello had 23, as did James Gowans, 26 to Brent Guerra, 27 to Heath Hopwood and 22 to Daniel Healy.
It was one of James Gowan's disposals, ending with Eddie Sandsbury there. And he showed a bit, didn't he? Gee, he's got some
in the
toe.
end, in a very low-scoring game, his couple of goals were pretty vital, weren't they? So, a good performance by him. This one here, for mine, was probably the one that got him over the line. Good effort by Healy in a one-on-one with Chris Massey. Set this pass up to Kellett, who finished off. And that was a one-goal difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, just 2-1 in the final quarter in favour of Centrals. And as I said, it was they took until the 8-minute mark of the second term to kick a goal, and it took until the 15-minute mark of the third term before they took the lead. As we look at the scores overall, and as I said, 2-1 in that final term, just having the better of the Red Leagues in the end.
They didn't give in though, Nord, and really, I thought they were gone and spent, they raised it another level and went again. So good on them.
It's still really without a key forward, Nord. They shuffled it around. Stewie Bound did the job at times, but they still haven't got the key
McEntee,
forward.
they've got Bound, they've got Pat Full. I think there's a lot more targets than what there's been in the last 5 years, though.
Yeah, and Centrals on the other side, they had multiple goal kickers. I think they've always got multiple goal kickers. And we have a look through the match stats. What do you make of those?
Yeah, well, it was pretty lopsided after the first term, but Centrals worked their way back into it and ended up having a stack of the football, and pretty even contest you would expect when there's only a goal the difference.
We heard Chris Gowan say that he would celebrate the win. Let's see how they celebrate with the song.
Team at Centrals, we're the mighty fighting dogs. We love our club and we play to win. Right in the box with a grin at Centrals. Come, what may you find us striving? Teamwork is a thing that talks. One for all and all for one's the way we play at Centrals. We are the mighty fighting dogs. Good work, boys.
Yes, big victory for Centrals, although obviously not overjoyed at the end of the day. They got home by 6 points. They really had a tough struggle. And as we see, just the odd jelly bean or two will be consumed as they try and get some carbohydrates in quickly. Or glucose, at least.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of sugar in there, but a hard effort. And look, they are doing some hard work on the track, as we heard Roy Laird say before the game. And fair enough, too. And I think that just probably took a little bit of the edge off their legs, but won't hurt them at this time of the year.
No, you wouldn't have thought so. And Sodas actually has that man, Roy Laird, with him down in the change rooms.
Well, thanks, Neil. Roy, it was always going to be a tough game with Norwood playing for their final survival. Were you happy with the way the boys went about it?
Probably not throughout the day. We started pretty poorly, which probably showed signs of, I mentioned to you before the game, we've had a few torrid weeks on the track and worked pretty hard. So we looked a little flat. I sensed it at half time as well. I thought, we just looked a little flat. So that's coming through some hard training we're doing, which is only going to benefit us. But in the end, it was a good win because we were playing a side whose season was on the line today, and they really threw everything at us.
With the struggling a little bit there, it did give you an opportunity to experiment with your forward line, and after half-time I thought Coulter and Sandsbury really were winners for you? Yeah, well, they're key assets for those two blokes are their speed, and they gave us great pressure and got rewarded. I think Eddie kicked two himself, and Coulter, I think, kicked one, and they're important to our structure and keeping footies in the forward area. They were good. And was it a key idea of yours to try and promote a lot of the youth now taking over the job this year? Because Ofter Hyde and Brooks I thought were terrific as well. Yeah, they've been solid. Jez has had a good year. Brooks is coming in the last 6, and I mentioned before, I think they got thrust upon us. Like, we lost a few blokes, senior blokes, Geister and Hicks from our line-up for 5 years. So, and we lost them, so we've been forced upon it, but they've stood up really well, the boys. And West Adelaide have lost to South Adelaide, so it gives you a bit of breathing space at the top as well.
Yeah, interesting result, but this time, I don't know, Westies are probably doing some hard training as well, so it's always a time now, like we've secured in a final spot, and you've always got to be wary of some mental lapses, and that's maybe what happened to Westies today.
And you're prepared this week for Port Adelaide next week at home?
Yeah, Port at home, they beat us earlier in the year, so, and easily as well. We were disappointing that night, so we'll build up for a big week.
All right, thanks, Roy. Good luck with the game next week.
Thanks, Mark.
Roy Laird there with Sodas. Nothing if not calm, that's for sure. Scores from other grounds. Eagles beat Glenelg by 52 points this afternoon. A big win there. Still playing down at Noarlunga, of course, and it's a 44-point margin. South Adelaide beating West Adelaide. Extraordinary.
It is, isn't it? They've had some great wins south and some really disappointing losses, but this one will be an absolute beauty to top off the season for them.
Well, coming up, there's still a match to play in round 20 tomorrow, and that will be the match between Port Adelaide and Sturt. We will have highlights on ABC TV News tomorrow night from 7 o'clock, as always. We look through the other matches coming up next weekend.
Interesting in that Port Sturt game too, that it looks like the Redbacks are playing the old Port Adelaide players, so
yes,
get some footage of that too, mate.
Yes, that'll be at half-time, something to look forward to. The other matches coming up, Norwood face the Eagles. Crucial game for Norwood. They still have, I think, Moggy, a mathematical chance.
No, Norwood are out, Neil.
Norwood are out, okay, well there you go. Norwood to play the Eagles. All they can do is upset the Eagles on Friday night. Saturday afternoon, as we said, Central's against Port Adelaide at Elizabeth from 2:30, and then the games on Sunday, North versus West, with the bye for Glenelg, South and Sturt. And South will well and truly be happy with that bye after a big win this afternoon. And they'll be resting some weary bones and looking forward to playing Port Adelaide next weekend, Central District. Central's up by 6 points this afternoon. A very, very good victory.
Tough work, wasn't it? And you can see the boys all getting their ice and in their cans of Coke to get a bit of sugar back into their system. But I think they'll all sleep pretty well today. I reckon they'll have the legs up and might have to take it pretty easy to get ready for what's going to be a big clash next week against the Magpies.
Yeah, well, clearly they have gone through that period where they've done it hard, and now they're easing up towards the finals. They'll want a good performance next week, of course, but there are bigger matches still to come.
They'll freshen up in the next few weeks, Neil, and make sure that they're going into that final series cherry ripe. And you know, the way it's set up now with the top four, they get a week off in the first week immediately.
So Norwood challenged them today. They led by 20 points at quarter time, but Central's in the end home by 6 points. I had to check that here at the Adelaide Oval. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. On behalf of Tim Ginniver and Michael Maney, Ian Mogridge, and of course Soda's on the boundary. I'm Neil Cross. We'll see you next week.